corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag and Underdog Fantasy. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA, college basketball, to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Although the NFL season is done, there's still many games to be played between college basketball, NBA, NHL, and WNBA. There's always time to embrace your inner underdog. All you got to do is predict higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. If you have yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code ChiefConcerns, one word, to claim your free pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So let's continue to keep the good vibes going into the spring season. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Tasia Dash. Guys, the league year, the 2025-2026 NFL season has begun. Not officially. Today was just a legal tampering period, but again, a lot of signings happened today. This is the new year. And all moves will be made official, I think, tomorrow or the next day. But yeah, today was the legal tampering period. It has begun. A lot of new faces and a lot of old faces returning already as we start the 2025-2026 season. How is everyone doing tonight? I know we've been texting all day long since around 10 a.m. today, but how are you guys? How are you guys doing right now? How are you feeling? It's 8 o'clock hour on the East Coast.
I'm feeling fine, man. What's been going on in the kingdom? I have no idea what's happening, man. I've been watching anything, so I have no idea what's going on. I'm doing fine. Listen, we had beautiful weather out here in Kentucky, so I wanted to enjoy the day a little bit out there, outside, and we did that. Got a lot done today, but other than that, man, everything's good.
It's a good start to one of the pluses of making the Super Bowl, not winning it, but making it, is that it's a very short time between that day and this day. So thank our team for being this good every year to keep it a very short offseason so we get to enjoy this legal tampering period.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a great so far. Obviously, we're going to talk about I know last week we started our prospect watch on our Monday show, but we're going to continue that next week on next Monday. Just guys, there's so much that happened today and this weekend, so we feel like we kind of had to really dive into the deals that Brett Veach has been handing out.
And it does have draft ramifications, all these moves.
That's true.
From here on out, it's all interconnected, right? Everything they're doing now with the draft in mind, right? Yeah. Every move they're making.
And also for us, we can actually see what to look at a little bit more and kind of hone in on certain positions now that we know, okay, we got our left tackle free agency. We don't need to go get the left tackle in the draft, unless you do think so. But yeah. So JD, kind of give a warm welcome to our chat. I know you're always the man doing that. So
you got to do that, man. Before we start a conversation with us, we always got to acknowledge all the people that decided to come in to see us run our mouth. So I'm going to say what's up to everybody, the Chiefs Concerns family. And if you're first time here, welcome. Welcome to us. So now, Feast Foster, what's going on, Feast? Good to see you. Nana Sher is in here. She's waiting to hear a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about. It's been an event for 5 days since Chief Concerns last one. Yes, it has been. We're going to get into all of it too, Nana. Andre Chanel, what's going down? How you doing? Linda Hunter is in here. Not just for the Chiefs, but across the league. I'm going to need a scorecard to keep up. we are here at your beck and call. We got the scorecard and we keeping it. So we'll keep up with those things. Maria DeJarnes, how you doing? Chiefs Concerned family, good to see you as well. I'm the Brown is here. I'm the Brown. Have no fear. I'm the Brown is here. Good to know it. I'm the Brown. Jay Kelsey. Well, Kelsey is here. Good evening, Chiefs Concerns family. Good to see you, Jay. Neff is already in the house. What's going down, Neff? Good to see you. We're going to have a good show for you today. There's been some moves in all areas and walks of life in the NFL. Green Bay is not immune to the things that's been going on either. So but we won't be talking a whole lot about them. Okay. So they, I don't even know if they're going to make, I always tell this to my nephew is, I don't even know if they're going to win their division. They're always like, third and fourth. That's what I tell him. Like, I don't know if they're going to make it. So
they spent a pretty penny on a guard today.
Yeah, well, yeah. Need to find him a quarterback. I'm playing. I like the guy they got up there, man. I do. G-Pick is in here, man. I love the left tackle we picked up. Dude looks like a stud, honestly. Okay, we'll get into that, talk a little bit about that as well. Drew Boucher, howdy, how you doing, my guy? Good to see you. We're going to be talking about some good things. Valerie Sanders, happy Monday to you as well. Double A, what up? Scarecrow, good deal. What up, Scarecrow? First name seems in here, so it's good to talk to you a little bit. Charles Driver, how you doing, Charles Driver? We'll be talking to some good things out here. Optimistic James is in here. Optimistic James always got something to say. Always. I can't wait to hear your input or your questions, man. Look at Newt. Newt is in here already. Young done, old done, well done, underdone. Hey, it is done, and we are done well. Thank you, sir. Good to see you, Newt. Good to see you, sir. Let me see who else we got in here as well. Samjack Guest is in the house. Good to see you. Sarah 73. Looking forward to. Hey, I love what you said today, Sarah. I do. You said that you come to us to get all the information. You don't go with anybody else, and it brought a tear to my eye. That's why I had the little, gift out there that was saying, with the tear and stuff. I meant that. Thank you so much because we're going to give you the things that you need. So good to see you, KC Colossus. Good to see you as well in here today. Pano Kawhi is in here. Good, Pano. Oh, Pano starts off early. Another injury-prone running back. Hope Kareem stays. I do too. But we'll get into that, talking about that, Pano. We'll get into talking about it a little bit. Kevin Morris is in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you as well. Brian Birch, Life Just Right is in here. Sup? What is up? So, hey, man, we ready to go, Brian Birch. Life Just Right, we are ready to roll. Chiefs fan 1969, good to see you as well. Toughest division. There he goes with that. They just make it tough division up there, and they say Green Bay, but ain't really been a whole lot coming up out that way, right? Following a little bit. So, D.H. Hernandez, Buffalo gave all the money to one guy. Now they're going to be left with a bunch of Bob Smiths for protection. Ooh, well,
that was a wild contract. That was probably the most baffling contract of the day.
And they didn't need to. That's the thing about it. They didn't need to.
Yeah.
But hey, man, okay. We'll talk about that as well. Hernandez, we'll get to see it. So General 51, good to see you, my man. Good to see you in here. So with that being said, giving all my introduction and my cheers and hi, congratulations to everybody in here. Salutations. Let's ready to roll, Marcus. What you got for us, brother? What we want to talk about first? We got a lot on the plate, baby. What we want to talk about first?
A lot. So the way we're going to kind of go with things today, we're going to talk about the signings. So we're going to talk about the signings today of the new faces, and then we're going to talk about the re-signings of guys we brought back. But before that, this whole weekend kind of started off pretty crazy. We wake up Saturday morning, and you get reports that Xavier Worthy's arrested. You got mugshot photos all over the internet, and yeah, apparently he strangled someone, choked someone out. That was everyone's talking about that. Everyone's like, oh man, we need to get a receiver. We need to bring somebody in now. Xavier Worthy's gone. Rashee Rice probably gets suspended for at least the first 4 games this coming season because the car wreck thing last year. So obviously a lot goes nuts. Then by the end of the day, we get the charges being dropped on Xavier Worthy, and we find out that there's some weird thing going on between him and his fiance, extortion type stuff going on. So yeah, just a kind of a crazy whole thing, how that whole thing played out. But again, this is, it's tough. JD, I don't know much about being a pro athlete. I don't know much about being a millionaire. But like, this is the stuff that like athletes, guys who are in your positions, like kind of have to, I mean, so a lot of people are scared of it. That's why, who was it? Who was the mom? There was a mom of Jaden Daniels. His mom was saying she doesn't want him even to have a wife or a girlfriend. She said she doesn't want to even have that, which I think is kind of an extreme measure to the whole thing. But that's that's on the cards for a lot of these guys. For that whole situation. I remember Bradley Beal talk about that. A lot of guys have talked about wanting to stay away from having significant others because of stuff like this. Because you get wrapped up with the wrong person, you get extorted. So I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that whole situation? How everything played out on that Saturday?
Well, I'll say this. As a father of 4, you hate to hear anything like this happen on either side of it, whether it be your son or your daughter, all the parties involved. You're just trying to get to what really happened. I think it's really what it boils down to. You want to make sure everything is, hey, let's get the details exactly what went on. And so, those things are always hard. It's very difficult when anytime you hear anything about domestic or putting hands on one another, it shouldn't happen. Let me just put it that way. Regardless of who said what, nobody should put their hands on anybody. Not saying that he did it or even her putting hands on him, which there's some reports that she came out doing those things.
She reportedly scratched him and pulled his hair out.
I think, man, all of it's messy. It's messy. And the thing is, once it hits, the media, gets to the police station, they get involved into it, man, it just becomes a bigger mess. And what you do is everybody forms their opinions. They jump on one side of it, or, all of a sudden it was like, I'll get rid of Worthy. I'll, stay away from Texas and all those different things, man. And it's just an unfortunate thing that we see and we hear in society, that these things go on. So what I will do, I'll leave it at this. You always got to, be very discerning, very careful with who you deal with, what you deal with, any situation that you're in. And I'll say this, and I've been one of those that's spoken to rookies that come into the league. I've had this very conversation with them. And I've always told the guys, if you're ever in a situation that you feel like it might get a little dicey, regardless of who it is with, you need to walk away. You need to remove yourself from that situation as fast as possible and deal with it accordingly. And that means call the police or you call somebody else and make sure that you're in a safe place. You're away from somebody and say, listen, this is what's going on. I haven't done anything, haven't touched anyone, but I want somebody removed from my home. And then that's probably the best way to try to deal with it. But anytime you start getting into these situations with relationships, and then it's all, somebody cheated on me and this your word against that person's, that's what makes it all difficult, man. And everybody will formulate their own opinion based off the things that they read or what they hear. And it comes out, they say a statement, oh, here's a statement right here. Now here comes a statement, and Worthy's, professing his innocence in this, that's what they're doing. And it's unfair for all the parties involved. And the thing is, we had to go through it since last offseason with Rashid Rice, some controversy. And that's the thing about it, because it was just so fresh on people's minds that, oh my gosh, here we go again. I'm sure it's what everybody's heads were at. But like I said, I told the guys coming in as rookies, like I said before, and I'll reiterate to them, anytime that you may be in a situation that you feel that something may happen, you need to go ahead and leave immediately. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole thing was obviously, stuff that should have kept in-house, right? Like, Worthy, obviously this crazy story that happened, but, apparently he hired an investigator, found out that she was, having, getting with other guys. And that's kind of where the thing starts, right? He wants her out of the house. She doesn't want to leave. And then she tells him, you kick me out, I'm going to, do what I have to do, try to stay here. And then she apparently ripped his dreads out, scratched him, and then obviously we heard the part that was against Xavier Worthy, which came out Saturday. But again, glad that was able to be figured out for him. But again, it's scary, man. It's scary for athletes, and obviously, the whole thing was just crazy. But yes, almost exactly a year to the day of Rashee Rice's driving incident, which was April 4th, I believe. So almost a year.
Yeah, and then you have every fan group out there trying to run victory laps over this, and people they virtue signal and try to act like they care about the victim, but really they actually would rather there be a victim and the chief be the assailant than no story at all. Like they want it's actually really disturbing how people want the bad story to be true. Instead of saying, oh, it's actually not this. They want the worst case scenario to be the truth. Instead of saying, oh, it was not this case. Because they just hate the Chiefs that bad. I think people in general want to see athletes go down. I think there's that general, or just successful people with money. People just love seeing people topple. It's a really sad state that we are in this time period. On top of that, he's a Chief. So it's like that cake with like 3 extra layers on it. People just want like the Chief now because the Bills fans, all kinds of fan bases were just loving it. It's like, dude, you're cheering on a domestic dispute and domestic abuse right now. That's what you're cheering on while you're trying to act like you care so much about the victim at the same time. And then they're in denial when it is not true. Instead of like being happy that an innocent man is not guilty and being treated that way, which you should be, especially in American or judicial system, they're upset that it's not true. And they think it's BS that he's off now. But yeah.
Well, I think, you said it. The sad part is because you hate the Chiefs that much that you want to see their demise, and you're worried about somebody's life, and less about it, right?
And the person being strangled, just collateral damage in your hatred for the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's what. Yeah, you're basking in that, right? And it was crazy because then you seen the somebody was posting on Twitter images of guys that been affiliated with the Chiefs or have been on the Chiefs as, oh, look at all of these guys. And I'm like, you know what? This thing right here has done gone too far. Really? Because the reality is you could go almost to any occupation. And for the people that don't know, there's other people that have been caught on domestic or maybe hadn't even been talked about that hasn't come out that you do the exact same thing. To bring out mug shots of different people. Come on. And I'm talking about to the dirt, sexual predators and all those different things.
Yeah.
It's,
a lot of high ranking.
Yes. Come on now. Let's talk about it. We won't talk about it. We talking about to the upper echelon of where it's society is. If anything, their hands are wiped clean. There's a lot of things that swept under the rug. So,
Bills fans were looking for extra. Bills fans had a little extra juice in it because, which is even crazier, what I'm about to say, they want vindication for their GM passing and trading Worthy. So they were online going, see, Bean was right when he passed on Worthy. He knew something about him then. I'm serious. These are things that are being said online.
I didn't see. That's crazy to me.
It's just insane. And then in the moment, I was honestly, I had a reply the second that he was innocent. It was like, I think the tweet was, and it got a lot of attention. It was, see, maybe Bean knew something, knew a lot more than we thought he did about said prospect. That's all I'm going to say. I was almost like, once he was innocent, I was like, I guess we're back to Bean not knowing shit. I mean, what now he's innocent. So back to square one, and he was wrong all over again. I mean,
But it does go into that, right? Because everybody's like, we didn't know he had character issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean kid. All of a sudden he finds out. Well, see, they're talking about details, right? Because we don't know. There's always his story and her story, and always the truth, whatever the truth of everything is. And so, who's to know fully what their relationship was? But if, like somebody said on here, Demetrio Spence, what's going on? Demetrio said, I knew the situation was wild when I read about the private investigator was involved. And so, if you had to, hire your private investigator because you're suspecting that somebody is being, it's infidelity and cheating on you and stuff like that. Like Barbershop said on here, it's easier said than done to walk away. But sometimes somebody has to say, hey, man, you got the evidence? You have to walk away. Yeah. G-Pick said ghost him. Ghost that joker. You know what? Hey, change your landline. Change your lock on your door. Hey, you make sure, all of a sudden, that person gets the message. I don't need to talk to you about nothing. There's nothing you need to explain to me about anything. Not at all. So go about your business, go about your day. Whoever it is that you was dealing with, stay over there with them. Let them rub your back and console you a little bit. I'm sure they got a shoulder that you could cry on. You've been going over it before when you was over there smiling. So this ain't going to be no different, okay? Fall into them arms. So I just, it's messy, man. It's a messy deal, but when you're dealing with where all of a sudden now, not only your reputation, your money and all those things involved, your family gets involved into it. They can sell
life.
You all those different.
It's a 2 to 10 year. It's a 2 to 10 year charge. It's life. That's life.
Right.
Forget about catching football. I'm talking about catching time.
Absolutely.
2 to 10 years.
Man, come on. But
come on now.
That's what I'm saying. This disparagingly like using you and say those things, man. It carries a heavy weight that you really can't get away from you because you will always be associated as that guy. Always as that guy. And so you can show contrition, you can show all those different things. You can do a tour and say, hey, this is what somebody's always going to say, you are known as that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, even when it's falsely accused, it's like I always, the comparison I always have is, I know we're going way off tangent here, but the comparison I always have is whenever when Wendy's got caught or not got caught, when Wendy's had that story with the Band-Aid being in the burger, they lost stock, right? But the moment they found out that was a huge story, the moment they found out that that person lied about it, no one cared. No media picked up on that. And the stock already took its hit. It's too late now, right? So the bad story sticks, even when the truth prevails in the end, right? And that's a sad thing. That story, that mugshot's still going to be used for Chief memes. And the next time someone gets arrested on the Chiefs, because sad to say, I mean, it will happen again. Hopefully not soon, but it will happen again. And that's going to be used. Even though it's false, Worthy's face is going to be thrown in that group. No one's going to ask her backstory. They're just going to see another guy on that chart. It's messed up. It's crap. But that's again, unfortunately, how our societies work sometimes.
Well, it is. It's the pitchforks and the torches are going to be out for a guy like that, right? And rallying to get a dude. And as soon as he found it, they all turned the other way. And somebody's still going to sit there and say, I guarantee he still choked her. I guarantee he still did that, right?
And a lot of the problem is the false accusation. And what's really messed up about it is these false accusations, it's like shooting your shot. She tried. She's just trying to get money out of it somehow, right? So she's playing with someone's 2 to 10 year life in order to do that. The thing that sucks is like nothing ever happens to the person that falsely accuses anybody. And that's something that needs to change, I think, in our system, period, for people to be like, do I really want to try? Do I really want to try slipping this one by and lying about this? Because what if they had a rule that you caught half the time they did if you were lying about it? You think people would start keep accusing people if she knew she could face 1 to 5 years over a lie? I think people would stop spewing lies and bullshit if they knew that.
There's so much going into that conversation because you will have some people that will say somebody's flat out lying, right? They can almost make another person feel like they're crazy and saying like, look, I'm letting you know this is going on. This is what's happening to me. I tell you, listen, let me give you all a show to watch. Okay, everybody who's out here right now, watch the show How I Escaped My Cult. Watch that show. We've been watching like 7, 8 of them, and I'm like flabbergasted. Seriously. And part of the reason I say that, Tage, is because on the other end of it, when these people of influence that are everybody holding high regard and everybody's believing everything that they say, like their own family members were sitting there saying like, hey, you see Robert Shepard's a great show. Their own family members were sitting there saying, I'm punishing you because I believe this guy that's up here. I believe this guy that's head of the organization. I believe the guy that everybody holds in high regard. And the person sitting there saying, this has been happening to me for years. Like, you're supposed to protect me. Y'all didn't do that. And so it's so crazy how these conversations could go, because it could be either way, man. And that's why I say these things are so unfortunate, because sometimes you do have victims who don't get believed, and they drop cases because it's like, well, geez,
I totally agree with that. That shouldn't happen either. But I think if you knew the person was putting themselves in the line to say, man, I think it actually would make the accuser look more valid, because if you think it's just a free money grab, you could try it. They could be lying. But if you're a cop or you're a judge and you're like, well, this person, they're lying about this, they might seek 5 years. Like you would think their case might be a little more valid if that's on the line. It's like, man, I hope they're not lying, because if you're lying, you're screwed, dude. You got some cojones on you if you're going to be lying about this.
Well, something very similar to that was the
sucker right here. Use it, right there.
Yeah, the Tyreek Hill case, because as Chief fans, we've kind of dealt with stuff like this before. With Tyreek Hill thing, where his his wife or whatever, his girlfriend, he's got a lot of different baby mamas out there, but I think so. The story was that he beat his wife, or beat the baby, beat the kid. And then there was audio evidence after the fact where they had her pretty much saying what she was doing. She was lying about it, and they got, and that's when the case got dropped. But before that, and to your point about the whole Wendy's Band-Aid thing, people still think Tyreek Hill beat a kid. People still talk about, oh yeah, Tyreek Hill. When the whole arrest thing happened with Tyreek this year in Miami, go to those comments. Oh, good. I'm glad this happened to him. He's a child beater. Child abusers deserve this. It's like that actually, because NFL, ESPN, everyone kind of went with that with him. No one ever actually got the full extent of that story, because we're Chiefs fans.
Believe what you want to believe.
Exactly. But as Chiefs fans, we knew the extent of the story. But ESPN, NFL Network, they didn't really walk a lot of that back as far as talking about what actually happened. No. I don't know what actually happened with that whole thing.
No, because when you fully commit to the opinion behind the story, you have to it takes a lot of cojones to backtrack off that and say, I was wrong. And also, no one likes to be wrong. So it's just better just to move on. All right, let's just move on to the next topic. Let's not talk about how I was completely wrong about someone's life. No one wants to do that. So it's easier just to move on.
But I think it gives people more validity, especially like that. If you're coming out with a story saying, hey, look, we got this thing wrong.
Yeah.
We did. We don't mind sitting there and saying that. I forgot who said that. There was somebody recently. I'm just like, you know what? That well done by sitting there saying that you were wrong in this situation. And like you said, nobody wants to be wrong about anything, right? They don't want to say those things. And so there it is. Like, oh, okay, I'm just going to wipe my hands up. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, you just sat there, we caught you lying. You just was going to be okay with the lie, and you just move on from it. Like, you don't get to just do that. You don't just get to leave people's lives destroyed and just, we're going to wipe our hands clean of this whole thing. And, hey, what's in the news next? No, sir. It doesn't work that way. And
why do you want that to be true anyway? That's another thing that, again, like, sign of the current times that we're in. Like, why do you want that to be true in the first place? Like, why?
Well, people can't. The reason is because people can revel or be happy in other people's successes, whether it be jealousy, envy, and all those different things. Anger, hate is what it is. And so when you have those things about you, it comes out. It manifests itself in a lot of different ways. And this is where we're living in. This is the world we're living in right now, Tage. Yeah. And the thing is, it's gotten to another point right now. And it's on an all-time high. It really is. And a lot of it has to do with what we see on TV, whether it be from our elected officials, whether it be from sometimes our clergy, where it may be from sometimes our employers. It could be from any walks of life. And the thing is, because of the bad behavior, sometimes those people get celebrated. That's reality of it. And nobody sits there and say anything about it. Nobody calls out the bad behavior. We just continue to roll with it. So what's the thing that gets rewarded? It is the salacious stuff. It is like
it's sexy.
It is. And so it's so crazy because we don't hold ourselves to a higher standard that we should.
Yes.
Morally, so the morality in itself in the whole society is low. Why? Because the ones that we should be looking up to that should have some type of decorum and higher sense of morality don't. That's real. That's what we see, and our kids mimic it. Our kids see it. They see it in their homes. So that's why it's that way. Nobody likes to see those things, man. It's hard to do that. Celebrate the people that do things well. Pat them on the back. But let's demonize everything and everybody.
Before I know we're going to move on, the first comment I had to that Buffalo fan who said, "Oh, they drafted Coleman over Worthy because of Brandon Beane's awesome." I go, but they said yes to Coleman and said no to Worthy. So maybe Brandon Beane would have been a better cop than GM. love that one.
That's good. That's good.
But Xavier Worthy, new haircut. He posted on Instagram, new beginnings with a new haircut. Baby. So
everyone got a haircut.
Hollywood got a haircut too.
And Mahomes,
yeah. Everyone's new beginnings for everybody. The Super Bowl really, I don't know. Super Bowl changed the narrative for these guys.
Yeah,
so going into new season, new look, love it.
Yeah. Which Hall said, morality and common sense and honesty are dying traits of humanity. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And Travis too. Kelsey also got a haircut. They posted the video on online yesterday. I saw that going around. So yeah, everyone's doing it. I think I'm gonna maybe join the club soon. All right, so we're gonna get into it. So obviously, left tackle has been a big thing everyone's been talking about for quite some time this off since we lost. Well, actually, even before the Super Bowl, it's been kind of a constant narrative, constant thing on our show going back to last year. What are the Chiefs going to do at left tackle? Kingsley, we ended up drafting Kingsley, who's probably going to be our left guard. But today, the Chiefs finally solved their left tackle situation. I guess we're going to discuss that if we did solve it. Well, the Chiefs have signed Jaylon Moore, left tackle from the San Francisco 49ers, to a 2-year, $30 million deal, including $21.24 million guaranteed at signing. So Jaylon Moore has been a backup in San Francisco to Trent Williams, the best left tackle in the league, I would say. And in limited duty, he's played pretty well. PFF numbers show last 3 seasons, he's played a total of 681 snaps. He's only allowed 4 sacks. His pass block grade of 73 last season is higher than any Chiefs offensive tackle over the last 2 seasons. And many say that Jaylon Moore got this deal that he got because of this 4-game stretch that he went on during the season with, and those are the PFF numbers right there, the grades there. So guys, I know it's been kind of a mixed bag online. Some people thought we overpaid for a backup left tackle who's going to be our starter. Some people are saying this guy is gold. A lot of Niners fans are pissed off about this. They liked him. They were hoping that they would kind of make sure he was the guy to fill in for Trent Williams when Trent Williams does retire. What do you make of this? Are you sitting here tonight, March 10th, saying we got our left tackle for the next 2 years? What do you guys say about Jaylon Moore?
Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll start with this. All right. Wasn't my first choice in guys. Going through his tape, kind of looking at him, I thought he was just an okay tackle. I really did. I thought he was just kind of okay guy. I think that's why we do the 2 years, $30 million. If you get a long term, you want it for a longer time if you think he's your guy. So I think this is a good balance and mix of, okay, we'll give him 2 years. How does he pan out? Do we make concessions if he doesn't work out? Yeah, possibly. So I think for what they've seen left in free agency, they decided to go ahead and go and get him. The thing is, he's a fairly young guy. I mean, he's 27, almost 28 years old. Excuse me. He'll be 28 when the season starts. So that 4-game stretch, I mean, looks pretty good. It does. What you like to see is 77 pass blocking, 75, 78. And I looked at the teams that they were going against. Green Bay was one of them. Buffalo Bills was another. I'm trying to think who else was it. Who else was in that whole stretch? But I think that, they lost those games. One of them, actually, I'm looking at one now when they was with Green Bay. So he wasn't my first pick. I think he's okay tackle. Look, if they like it, I love it. Put it this way. They like it, I love it. And if they trust him, hey, I'm gonna roll with them. I'm gonna roll with them. So I'm gonna trust it. Welcome to the Chiefs. That's how I feel about it. All right, Jaylon Moore, I'm pushing for him. So I hope this is gonna pan out. It's gonna work for us. So I'm gonna rally this guy all day long that he does well. But like I said, he wasn't my first choice. I think sometimes when we look at least for me, watching his pass blocking and some of the things, still needs to be some work there, maybe strength-wise. Because I look over the years, Marcus, 2021, he was at 59. 2022, this is all PFF, it was 65.9. 2023, 72.9. And 2024, 74.9. And this is him just getting more reps in it. So if he's found his sweet spot and he keeps up the trajectory, just getting better and better and better, this is what's going to be the determining factor of how it's going to look for an entire season, as opposed to coming in and filling in for Trent Williams. So we'll just have to see. But like I said, man, if they like it, I love it, and I'm gonna roll with the guy.
And I love those numbers you pointed out. I mean, that's positive progression every year. So by that, I mean, by those standards, he continues to get more time. He gets better. His grades will go up even more this year and whatnot. Sure. So that I didn't even know all that. So that's interesting that he's gone up every year. I do want before we get to you, Tage, I do want to bring this fun fact. G-Pick says, "Oh guys, fun fact: Jaylon Moore went to Western Michigan. You all know who else did? Sky Moore. Also, that left side of that Western Michigan line was Jaylon Moore at left tackle and none other than Mike Caliendo at left guard. So I never would say Kingsley's going to be the left guard, but there's a chance we might have an all Western Michigan left side of the line, although I hope Kingsley is the left guard, not Mike Caliendo. However, it's still fun that those two guys play with each other, so there's familiarity there. And obviously we like the Western Michigan Broncos. It's interesting to have 3 players from the same team on the Chiefs, so that's interesting. But, Taja, what were your thoughts on Jaylon Moore?
The other teams that he played, Chicago and the Rams, was the other 2 teams, JD.
Okay.
He faced off against Verse quite a bit in that game, obviously. Did a good job against him. So to start all the free agency, obviously everyone wanted Stanley. Right. I had my hesitations about Stanley too. 1, the money, 2, the injury past. Older. At his best, I feel more confident and comfortable with Stanley. Once Stanley was off the board, Marcus can tell you this, wasn't a big Cam Robinson fan. I feel like he's got more name than talent at this point. Led the league in pressures. And then you start hearing the money that the other guys were going to command, Dan Moore being one of them. It was starting to freak me out a bit. And this morning, before we signed him, I was like, I'm cool. I'm cool with Jaylon Moore. If Jaylon Moore comes at less, hopefully a good amount less than Stanley did, I'm good. I'm good with Jaylon Moore, right? So I was happy when they did it. Now it's only a 2-year deal. So the numbers and clips I saw, I liked, especially in Trent Williams' absence. I really liked reading, even before we got him, I started reading Niners because – the rumors started coming out about Jaylon Moore and Dan Moore going to get sizable contracts. I started reading a lot of the Niners threads, like fan threads. You learn a lot about a team's, especially I feel like when a guy's about to go, that's when fans start turning on him. And that's when fans start, not even being honest. They get a little more dishonest about how we didn't want him anyway. I never liked that guy. So it was cool to see that the reviews and the talk about him were really positive. Guys really liked him. They just didn't want to spend a lot of money on a guy who's most likely going to be a backup for them for the next couple of years. But they most people just said he was really solid. And at the end of the day, for what we paid, I feel like we paid him solid. He's not getting elite money. I'd love to see the breakdown of the AAV of what he's making compared to all the other left tackles in the league. So he's not top 10. I feel like he's just making a solid contract. We're paying him solid, and at what we're paying him, he just needs to play well, right? He needs to play above average for me to feel good about this. And it's only a 2-year deal, and Taylor's contract's up. We are not up, but we have an out after this upcoming season. So it's basically a contract year for Taylor, more or less. Would I still be surprised to see us draft a tackle in first even? No, not at all. No one here should be surprised if you see us draft a tackle. If Simmons drops, if we like Connerly, if Ursary, I would not be surprised to see us take a tackle. Because, A, you don't want to hinge everything. Obviously, we're not sold on Moore being the absolute future of our left side. If we did, we would, like you said, we would have signed him to a longer contract. So it's 2 years it's a short-term audition for a reason. If you draft a tackle, he can, let's say he outplays. Let's say Simmons comes in, rehabs the patella tendon, and then all of a sudden they just see in camp that he's just like killing it. They're like, all right, we can't keep this guy off the field. And then let's say Moore makes a better right tackle. You move him over once Taylor is gone. So that's the thing. You have your left tackle is gone in 2 years here, and your right tackle 1 more year here. So wouldn't be surprised at all to see us still take a tackle early on or even in the first round.
Yeah, when I was saying this early, like last week, about not just getting a guy, okay, that's one thing I didn't want us to do. Just get a guy, get a body to fill in, and just like, okay, we're gonna be happy with it. Like we've been doing this dance for a long time, and okay, I want to make sure we got the right guy, okay. And if they're fine with making sure they have the right guy, sure. But I'm right there with you, Tage. The same thing, Simmons, he drops down. I don't see that as being an issue because we'll still have him for 4 years. We get a guy like that here, right? And so the same thing, you give him time
5 years,
to help you, or 5. Well, yeah, 5.
Well, you hope.
Extend it,
right? You hope we pick up that last year.
Yeah. So if you decide to do that, yeah, I'm not opposed to that whatsoever. I think it's a pretty good idea. Now, and I told you, that Simmons being the only guy that I would go with. The other guys, maybe you give them some times, to get developed. Sure, a guy that's had experience, that's what you want to go with. But you have to have a guy that does have experience to start here. I don't think you just go with a rookie guy and then just throw him in there to the Wolves. Didn't work. It's not going to work. And so with him, he does have experience. That's a great thing that he has on his side. And because he's been watching the guy in front of him for a long time about knowing how to do things the right way, feet and all those different things that he could try to emulate, helps him out too. My thing is more important. It's so vital that 15 stays upright. That's it. You do the job keeping the hands off 15. Bravo. And like you said, there was some issues with Stanley and all those different guys. Sure. Cam Robinson, like all of them gave you pause. The little things like you could like argue and, hey, I'm a supporter of and I'm arguing against this. And so, yeah, we were talking about, I seen Pono Kawhi was talking about Larry Tunsil. All of a sudden he came out with a deal. They got him, but we watched Larry Tunsil kill it for years, right? I mean, that joke was a wall. He's like, man, how come we didn't get that guy? But it's like we got the guy that they were okay with, okay, that they were willing to sign for that amount of money. And that's important. The important part is, that the price was right for them. They didn't want to do anymore. And I think Stanley and those guys, they weren't willing to give him $20 million. They weren't trying to do that. They wasn't. No. They was like, hey, no, we're not going to do that. So
it comes with a compromise, I feel, for all
absolutely.
of it. Right. You don't want to. We couldn't even get a shot at Stanley, so that's even out of the question. But you look at when It's funny we signed this first, got everyone's reactions, and then Dan Moore's contract came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, actually, I love the Jaylon Moore contract. I love that." Because you know what? Here's the thing about Jaylon Moore in comparison to a Cam Robinson, right? I think we've seen Cam Robinson's best. I don't think he's gonna get that much better from here. What is he, like 30? I mean, he's not. I mean, come on now. Thing is, and he's been playing a lot too. Thing is, we haven't seen Jaylon Moore's best. We haven't seen that much at all. So what you've seen, small sample size, it's a leap of faith. And he can play better than what he did last year. Let's say he's better. Let's say at worst he is what we saw for 4 games. Let's say at worst he's a little worse than that. Still solid, and it still equals the money he got, right? Well, no, his grades are pretty good. I mean, he faced pretty good talent. I mean, Verse is no joke.
No, but
Buffalo has a good pass rush.
They do.
I mean, look, he graded better than any one of our left tackles for the past 2 years. That's enough for me.
Yeah, but what is that saying, though? You know, like when we use the metric of it, it's like, well, you know, what is – we're looking for somebody like high caliber.
No.
That's what we're looking for. So saying that he's better than what we had the last 2 years is okay. Well, what does that mean? Is it just a little bit better? Or is it like, like tons, like we got our guy? That's my point I'm making as far as like
totally agree.
His argument.
I'm also looking for progression too. I want him to get better on the field.
Like you said, it's a leap of faith. Hopefully that it goes up. It keeps progressing in trajectory. Yep. Who's to say like he has a whole season, then all of a sudden he start dipping down. It's like, oh, okay, you wasn't that guy. My thing is Don Peterson, we want Willie Rowe.
Even Tunsil, I read today Tunsil led the league in penalties. So like even the almighty Wall led the league in penalties. So like everyone had a mark against them, I guess.
Listen, I'd rather you hold a dude to death than let you put your hand on the quarterback. And Tunsil's old school, like, look, I'm not going to let you hit our quarterback. If I need to reach out and grab you, hey, we just line back up. We'll line back up. We'll get over that hill. One thing we can't get over is if we lose 15.
Yeah.
We ain't going to be able to get over that. So, yeah, I'm going to grab your face mask. I'm going to reach right out there and grab you by your throat. We're talking about grabbing throats. I'm going to reach right out there and grab you. 15
Well,
yards.
I read Cam Robinson led the league in pressure, so I bet you're glad we didn't get in.
Right. Look, that's why that was my whole point. My whole point was I just didn't want to get a guy here. That's why I was saying that last week. I was like, I want to make sure we get the right one.
Yes.
So if this is the one like we feel like we have, and like you said, heck, if he develops into the point and he is solid, cool. And the thing is, look, I watched just a little bit on him. I want to look at a deep dive. When I come back on Wednesday, I'm gonna get my full assessment on him. Okay. To my eyes, with the things I have seen, a little bit of it, I'm just like, okay, all right, well, shoot, we'll go through it a little bit more.
A
little more.
There you go.
I will say I agree with what you guys are saying. It is kind of the best of both worlds. You don't get yourself locked in. Let's say he's not – that 4-game stretch is not a replication of what he's going to do for us, right? Let's say he's not that good. But it's a 2-year deal. You're not locked into a 4 or 5-year deal with this guy. But he's young too, and we haven't seen the best. We may not have seen the best of him, right? JD talked about his progression each year went up and went up and went up. Whereas, like you said, if we did sign Cam Robinson, we kind of know where he is already. We kind of already know what we're dealing with. There's kind of an unknown level to Jaylon Moore that could be good, it could be bad too. But there's that unknown component which they obviously think they can kind of take a chance on for 2 years. And in 2 years' time, he is his beast, and you extend him. And at that point, he's 29. He's still a young buck. You can extend him even longer after that in 2 years' time. So I think it's a solid, right in the middle kind of signing right there.
And he's not, and it's not enough money to the point where if you like a tackle in the draft, you take him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But look, I one thing I do know is this. I know they've done their due diligence, that if they sold on a guy, and somebody said this too, we're not just trying to get just bargain deals or get like, okay, we just got a good bargain. That's not the way to go. This, especially when you're playing around with, that a lot of your success and everything deals with making sure that PM15 is protected and you're keeping everything off of them. So I see there's just some mixed things in there. Barbershop said, I'm right with you, Barbershop. Got to see how it plays out though, because he said, to be honest, I don't like the move. And so I'm one of those, a little reticent on it. But hey, when I do this, I'm gonna go over the 4 games. I'm gonna check them out of the 5, and I'm gonna look at them. I'm looking at the feet. The little sample size, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So we'll see. Maybe make me a believer. But one thing I will say this, okay, and I'm gonna keep saying this over and over again. I know those guys do their due diligence. I know they take their time to look at a guy that it wasn't just going to be, okay, well, we just got to get somebody here, right? So I'm going to trust Andy and those guys. I'm going to trust them.
One thing we know for sure after all this, they didn't want to go into the season with a rookie starting at left tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if we draft him, he ain't starting left tackle day 1. So
I'll tell you what, I'll be mad if we do draft a left tackle in round 1. I'd be personally mad about that. I know it's a 2-year deal. It's just we're wasting resources on the offensive line.
It's not a wasted resource, though.
Last year's draft, we drafted 3 or 4 offensive linemen.
How is it a wasted resource, though?
We just spent $30 million or $15 million on a left tackle.
Yeah, but
so we're going to draft another guy too.
And that goes to show you that if they decide to take one anyway, it means that's how they feel about that dude, that he's going to be that dude eventually. And the end game is find that dude, because Taylor's probably gone in the offseason. And then if the left tackle, Simmons, Connolly, whoever is that dude, you move more over to the right side. And he mans the right side for $15 million instead of $27 million, whatever the hell Taylor's making. And then you have a young, cheap, cost control guy for 4 more years.
And the thing is, it's the long game. The long game is, like you said, if the 2 years have done work out and it looks like he's not going to be the guy, then you got a young dude just waiting in the wind. And so, like you said, because of the versatility, you could probably move him over here to somewhere else. So you utilize it, right? So King Suma didn't work out, the left tackle. You know where we're moving down to? Guard. That's what we're moving down to. So we're going to utilize it. And like Denzel, we're gonna leave with something. You're going to do something out here.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you better learn. And if we can't play tackle, you can't play guard, you can't play center, we'll move you to the other side of the football, play defensive tackle, if that's what needs to be done. But you ain't going to be sitting over there eating donuts on the bench. You're going to do something out here.
Especially Simmons, who's coming off a patella tendon, no joke. It can take longer to heal from than an ACL sometimes. So you wouldn't, even if you do think he's that dude, you're not going to rush him back anyway and have him get hurt again.
No. Right.
Yeah.
So, just with him, that's why I said Simmons, like, I know watching him, if he comes back to where he was in college, he's your guy. I'd ride on that all day,
Trust me, Marcus, I agree that, it wouldn't make me happy as hell because if we get a left tackle, that means our first-round pick's probably not going to play that much unless an injury happens this year. That sucks. It does suck. But the way we talked about this a million times, the way our team's built, being so top-heavy, you got to plan for more than just today. And we did that by signing a guy, and we could do that by planning for tomorrow by drafting that guy.
We'll see. We'll see if the draft comes in. If the draft comes, they don't draft the tackle, then it means it tells you they're banking on this guy being the guy.
Or they don't love who's there.
That too, yeah.
Right. Because of the depth of where things are right now. So here goes Melly Matrix. Go best player available.
I see. Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
I agree. We have so many needs today and tomorrow that you can go best player available with the list of needs we have. I can make a case for so many positions. We saw what cornerbacks are getting signed for. No guarantee we re-sign McDuffie to $30 million a year. No guarantee of that. So there you go. You have an opening possibly in the next year for 2 years of a number 1 cornerback, first-round pick. D-end. No guarantee we re-sign Karlaftis, and we don't have another starting D-end. D-end, you can go D-end there. Linebacker, I would say we probably wouldn't after signing Bolton, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Tranquil, 31, 2 more years left. Chenal, 1 more year left. Could we go off-ball linebacker early? Absolutely. We just talked about O-line. You could do that. We don't have a true left guard right now. We don't have a left or right tackle in 2 years from now. So, you could do a lot of positions. Yeah. Tight end, you could say it.
No, that's why I don't agree with that whatsoever. because I think some needs are more a priority than others. It really is. And so when I'm sitting there, I'm saying that, okay, I'm like, if we don't need a tight end right now, I'm not going to take the best tight end available. Why? Because we have more need at defensive tackle, maybe defensive end, as opposed to a safety or a linebacker now, since we've signed, Bolton. Yeah. And so there's some needs we just don't like. You don't have to necessarily address that immediately. So if you have like the best linebacker sitting there, you don't have to take him. Why? Because we have a guy that we want. So I think our need has to go to exactly what, especially our scheme, is desiring. Because I don't care who you have as a linebacker. If you have somebody up front and can't get no pressure on him, it's the same thing going against a corner. Well, then your corner that you're getting, you're going to get burned all day. Why? Because he has to cover all day. Why? Because we don't have pressure on the quarterback. And so that's why I say priorities have to matter. And so it's got to be based off of like, look, we need this guy more than ever at this position, right? I don't think you take the best tight end that might be available. I don't take him. I don't take the best, safety that might be available. I don't need that. So that's why I always say when we talk about, the best player available, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I do, especially when you're doing evaluation. Because then it's like, we're just trying to fit a guy. Well, shoot, that guy may not be better than the defensive tackle that we needed. We needed a defensive tackle that's going to be right beside Chris Jones, that's going to make a difference. That's going to make it easier for maybe that third pick linebacker or the fourth pick corner. You know what I mean? So
2 counters to that, though. One, what about positional scarcity in a draft? So factoring in, we do need D tackle more than anything, but you have 20. Maybe we have 20 D tackle, or let's say 10 D tackles that have 1 to 2 round grades, but you have one cornerback who's got a first round grade and he's sitting there. Do you say I can get a first round cornerback and a first round DT in the first 2 rounds, or do I get a first round DT and then I have to kind of reach on the second round? That's the first question.
No.
Second question. Let me go for that one first. Go ahead.
Let me do that one first, because every D tackle doesn't fit our scheme. I don't think that, because everybody has a grade on D tackles and saying, well, he's a first or second round pick. Well, he might be a first or second round pick for this team. For our scheme, what we run, absolutely not. And so I don't think all defensive tackles are equal. Absolutely not. And so when I'm sitting there saying, there's D tackles here that I would take, definitely in the first round. But then the other ones, I'm like, we could skate to the second or third round and wait for a guy. But if there's a guy for sure that we need to go ahead and address and get that guy. But I can't sit there and say 5 guys are all equal to be first rounders. I just don't. Their production doesn't merit that.
I mean, based on their boards, though, not just in general, based on the boards. If Veach is looking at his board, he's like, damn, dude, I got 10 DTs I like with a first or second round grade. I got 1 cornerback with a first round grade, and he's there. That doesn't play into it at all for a GM in a scouting department.
Well, that goes into the same thing like the first round guy. If he's sitting over here and he's more of a cover, like a zone cover corner as opposed to man guy, we run man. We're a man team more than anybody else. So why would I bring somebody in here that is not up for the things that we run? I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Trade up for a guy. If you want to use a trade, sure, why not? But just bring a guy in because he gets this first round grade. I think it's really it's irresponsible, especially if you go that route, especially if it's something that you definitely need. You know what I'm saying? I just.
But we're going to need so much in the next couple of years, right? It's a long game, like you said, right? If we look back, let's say a guy we passed on because we needed a DT turns out to be top 3 cornerback in the league. And a couple of years from now, I'm like, oh, we really needed to run stuff, or so that's what we took instead of one of the most talented cornerbacks in the NFL. It would hurt to say that,
Well, we don't know what it's going to turn to, Tage. You know what I know? Well, you know what I do know?
Yes.
There's a draft every year. And so guess what? If there's always going to be sliced bread each and every year of a guy coming out. So we need to address this the very next year. So be it. The same thing like with Trent McDuffie. I see somebody was talking about, go ahead and use Trent as a trade. Why? We got it for another year. Address that next year if you need to get that guy.
Oh, I agree. I don't want to trade McDuffie. I'm just like,
I'm just saying. No, but I'm just using that example. There's going to be stud corners every single year. There are. And so why not go ahead and do that especially that position, when you have, skilled positions on a guy. That's all I'm saying. Because you never know what a guy's going to do, what he's going to pan out. But I do know that we need a defensive tackle. And so if somebody's sitting there saying the same thing like a Chris Jones or, Trent McDuffie, do we pay Trent? I would sit there and say, well, shoot, maybe, paying Trent McDuffie $20 million as opposed to paying, maybe Kalafkis 32 now, he's been warranted. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I need to do that. I might want to rather pay Trent 22 and then get a young defensive end that could come in and kill it. So I think those, when you're making those decisions, it has to go with your scheme, your philosophy, what you're trying to do, especially like we were sitting there saying that we're going to get into Bolton. Everybody's sitting there saying, well, Bolton can't cover. Well, Bolton's running a man more than anybody else. He's able to get out on the sides and skirt and do all these different things that other linebackers just, you're not asking them to do. So that's a reality. But some people don't look at those things. And I'm just like, hey, I get that you got a receiver who is 6'5". Who's the dude that from Arkansas, Marcus, you wanted, who had the big hands?
Treylon Burks.
Yeah, Burks. Yeah, oh my gosh, get this joker in. He's 6'5", runs a 4.3, and we'll never throw the ball up to him. And all of a sudden, we don't need that guy. We need somebody else different. And so
I'm glad we differ on this, JD. It makes for good. It makes for good conversation. It's okay.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like we're not disagreeing just to have the conversation. We actually, everyone, we genuinely disagree on this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
See, Treylon Burks, I thought was the truth. Hey.
Yeah. His tape looked like he was the truth.
Paul don't lie.
It's also too, you can't really judge what's going on in Tennessee and what he's kind of been dealing with over there. Poor quarterback play. He had some injuries. I can still see him coming over. But hey, they let Justin Watson go today, so I think we're gonna have some openings in that wide receiver room. So who knows?
We've been trying to get Justin Ross on the field. How long? Everybody been talking about him, right? His next six thing and all just the Ross season and stuff. I'm like, look, man, we need to cut that out. Let the guy just make the squad. If he gets out on the field, I'm gonna cheer for him. Okay, but apparently they don't love him. You know what I mean?
They love him enough to keep him around though, which has got a lot of us.
He's just not that into you.
Listen. Look, don't just keep me around, okay? Let me be your guy. I'm going to be your best man. Let me be the guy, okay? Keeping somebody around just to stand me, I don't know.
I'm on a side piece.
Right. Either love me or let me go. That's how I feel.
No. Reed texted him late at night before the game. Are you up? That kind of, he just wants to. Yeah. You ready to run tomorrow? You ready to run?
And then he gets the inactive right before the game. He doesn't dress, poor guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we still got a lot of rosters in the chat. Chiefs fan 211 right there, and Melly Matrix still. I still think there's a chance we see Ross. Now that Watson's gone, there's a chance we may actually see him get some playing time this year. Who knows? We'll see.
Another position I would not be surprised to see us take in the first 3 rounds: wide receiver.
Yeah, we're going to get to wide receiver at the end of the show when we talk about Hollywood. So we'll move on to our next new addition to the team, our next guy that we signed today. We talked about running back as one of our needs this offseason, especially with, Pacheco being on a 1-year deal now. No other running backs in the room. Carson Steele's technically a fullback. But the Chiefs went out and got Eli Mitchell from the 49ers. Barely played last year. He was pivotal for them 2 years ago. Before they signed or before they traded for CMC, he was the guy for them, and then he got hurt. He was looking awesome for them. But yeah, signed him. I mean, this guy's a speed team. I think he ran a 4.340 coming out of Louisiana. Or was he Louisiana or Louisiana Lafayette?
I think he's Louisiana.
Okay, Louisiana. All right. But nonetheless, this guy's great. Problem is, this guy can't stay healthy. I mean, I don't think he's played a full season in the league since he's been in the league so far. I will say it's interesting though, JD. Last time we had a running back who had some sauce was Jerick McKinnon, and also a 49ers guy. Bringing this guy from the 49ers as well. both our additions today, both 49ers guys. So obviously we like something about the Niners team. But what do you make of this move? In my opinion, I think we talked about signing a veteran. I thought we were going to bring back Kareem Hunt as a veteran, and we were going to draft a running back. I still think we draft a running back, but this is the veteran that we bring in to pair with Pacheco. But of course, both these guys, Pacheco and him, being on a 1-year deal, I still think we are going to go running back within rounds 2 to 4 in this draft coming up here. But what do you guys make about this move of signing Elijah Mitchell to a 1-year deal?
I mean, he's a solid back. I think I picked him up on fantasy, man. That joker can run the football. That's for sure. Like you said, the problem is he just can't stay healthy. Matter of fact, I think when CMC went down, he came in and he gave him a lot of fire. It was almost like, well, shoot, CMC, you stay off. You stay back there, okay? Because he was out there really just torching the defenses. So we know he has ability. We do. There's no question about that. I don't think anybody could dispute the ability that he has. The question is, it's always about availability. So it ain't ability, it's availability is the issue. But I think he's a good addition to our running back room. Does that mean that, we won't draft a guy? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Does that mean, P. Ryan? Yeah, P. Ryan just got signed back with the Bengals. Went back home to where he's at, or at least one of the homes. And so, yeah. But I like his signing. I think it brings a lot here. Man. He's excited. He can catch the football. He can run, between the tackles. So the thing is, we just hope and pray, okay, Elijah, stay healthy. But he's going to give a lot to the room.
I think it's pretty low risk. It could be high reward. I think we want juice, and I think he's got juice. I was looking at his combine. He had a 99 athletics. This is just the combine score, not the RAS score. He was ranked number 1 for running backs for athletic score that year. So he's got juice. He can break one. I think that's what we're looking for. Again, I don't think this changes anything with looking at a running back in the early rounds. But again, I think it's low risk and could be high reward. Just another guy that just to keep Pacheco running hard too, right? I mean, you used to have a stable of guys. I think you add a do-it-all type running back from this draft, and you have a good stable of backs.
My big issue is, I know everyone's talking about bringing Kareem Hunt back. Kelsey talked about in his show last week he wants Kareem Hunt to come back, and I would love to have Kareem Hunt back. But my issue is for this signing, which I love the signing. I think it's great, but it's the staying on the field. And the thing that we've had an issue with Pacheco is being reliable because he's been injury prone as well. And so you have the guy, Eli Mitchell, who's injury prone. You have Pacheco, who's getting dinged up every other week. And then you draft a rookie running back. So we're going to ask this rookie to be the guy, if they both are injured by week 5 of the season. That's why, I don't know how plausible it is, but because you see us signing Kareem Hunt and then also drafting a running back 2 and have four running backs on the roster. Could you see that as a possibility? Because we know with Kareem Hunt, he came back off the couch. He was getting 15 carries plus every week, and he was fine. Yes, he was dinged up, but he was playing through it all. Whereas Eli Mitchell can't stay on the field. Pacheco has shown that can't be relied upon as far as being an every game guy because he's getting dinged up a lot. So that's my thing. I'm just scared we sign Eli Mitchell and Pacheco and they both go down. Then we're sitting in week 4, week 5. We're relying on this 4th round running back or 3rd round running back to be the guy. And it's kind of a lot to ask for a rook. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think so. No, absolutely. I think you can still make that move because like you said, it's not really a whole lot of money into, Elijah Mitchell. It isn't. And so when you're sitting over here, I'm looking at, Draft Sharks chance of injury in 2025, 90.9% is what they're saying. And they're just going through, his history, what they're banking on. As far as running backs, these knee injuries, hamstrings, strains to the groin, you name it. And so when a guy does have that history of being injured, you better have a contingency plan. And so if you're sitting there saying a long-term deal, right, if they're not willing to sign Pacheco to a long-term deal, Kareem Hunt, they said, was getting along in the 2. Elijah Mitchell is hurt. You better get a guy. You better have somebody in here. And so do you get somebody, like you said, in those rounds? And I really consider this, Marcus. And I just start kind of looking at it even more as guys I do want. But yeah, I think you probably need to go with somebody here that's going to be a bell cow. Somebody who's a third, three down back could do it all. That would be your, at least your target guy. Okay, we could have the little fast, jittery, get through guys, but sometimes you need a bell cow, a joker that could tote the rock and be solid in doing that. And if we're talking about what Andy was saying, that yes, I've learned you need to run the football. Good, well done. You learned that. Get a guy here who could do that and do it effectively all the time. So everything is just not patchwork. But if we get somebody like Elijah Mitchell and he's doing a great job, he's on a 1-year deal, shoot, cool. You just do the running back up by committee. Pacheco, let him come in and get a little juice. Kareem, let him come and get a little taste. Shoot, if a Rook comes in, he's ready, bring it in. May need to give him time. We thought the same thing with Derek Gore. We thought he was going to be a guy. We did all these different dudes we was bringing in, may not pan out. But that running back from UNC could be that guy, man. Shoot, you can't get. I don't know if we could get him, but we could get him now.
Yeah, that's top 20. We're looking at top 25.
Maybe not. You don't know
you
that.
think he go top 20?
He might not.
Yeah,
I see some experts have him and Genty going in the top 25.
American.
He's a beast, but
Yeah,
I'm a Kid Juddy guy over all those guys. So
Omarian's pretty legit, man.
Absolutely.
Omarian, come on, man. Over man.
You talking about? Yeah, I'd rather have Junkins in round 2 than Marion and having to trade up for him. Yeah, 100%.
Well, I could do that and say I'd rather have Giddens in round 4 or 5 than Juddy in round 2. I mean, we can keep playing that I'd rather have.
I told you the other day that I think Junkins is going to be the most successful running back of his class, fantasy wise.
Yeah, we ain't talking about fantasy.
We talk about situation, man.
Yeah. We talking reality for one, okay? and 2, I think Junkins might be able to be there. Maybe that 4th round. He might be. We get 2 4th-round picks. He could be the other guy.
Yeah, not. He had a really good combine. Not anymore. I don't think anymore. If he struggled in the combine, I'd say that's a good shot at that.
Well, I'm just looking at the teams that need them. How many guys on the market? How many guys they have that are solid, that are playing and starting? I don't know that. I haven't done a deep dive. I'm just saying that sometimes people talk running backs going high, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, they fall.
Totally, especially in a deep-ass class like this one.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. One of the guys they probably like a lot will most likely slip to a round they don't expect it. One of them will, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, if not one of these guys, one of the other ones. There's just so many. It's crazy. Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, he had a bad combine. If he slips late, man, I mean, there's a guy for you. Going back to Eli to kind of tie that in with him too. I don't agree with re-signing Hunt. I think Hunt's going back to the couch, and no one's going to call him until they have injuries in week 5. And if we do have injuries, like you said, I think we'll be able to call Kareem and he'll join us once again. I don't think we need to have him into the roster, take a space in training camp. I just don't think we have to do that. To have him as insurance, I don't think we need to do that. And I don't think you want to have Hunt running all season. The reason why Hunt looked halfway decent at the end of last year is because he wasn't running like that all season for us. He was on the couch resting. I don't think you want to have Hunt running like that all year. I think he won't be as good to you at the end of the year if you do that.
I don't know. You're a refresh Hunt who went to camp and is in condition. I think that would be much more beneficial.
Listen, look, that one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to leave him on the couch somewhere and then try to call him and try to get into shape. So
why? It looked pretty good last year.
Well, it got later, but at the first he was only getting 2-point yards and stuff like that. If you start him early, where he's under the thumb of the trainers, nutritionists, and all those different things. And here's the thing, though, Tage, as an older guy, this is what you do. You make sure he's not taking all the punishment during camp, but you keep him around. Like that. That's what you do. You manage how many times he's running the camp. You don't wear his legs down, but he's still running around with the guys. He's still being a part of everything. I think you put him in there to challenge like an Elijah Mitchell, just in case he does get hurt. Absolutely, keep a guy
he
like
can go to
that.
camp. I don't think he comes after camp. We can get him. We can whip him into shape and then send him back to the couch.
Oh no, man! Hey, look, man! I got my money on Kareem Hunt, and I think they like him. The team likes him. It would be probably in his best interest that like Sasha says, a full camp with him, just getting in shape. Hey, take all the don't put him in a whole lot of getting hit. He's going to be fine, but you want him in shape. So when it starts out, that Joker's a monster. Okay, so all that getting into shape and all those different things, you know it. You see it every single day. You see it every day. I would want that. I know I would. As a coach, absolutely. If I got a guy that was coming in talking about eat, he was getting 1 or 2 yards, that without a doubt, he was toward the end better than Pacheco. So why would I have a guy in here who wasn't better than Kareem Hunt and let him be the guy when Kareem Hunt was your bell cow. He was the one getting the yards and stuff like that for us. I'm going with him.
He wasn't doing much with it towards the end of the season, but yeah, I mean, sure.
He looked more explosive than Pacheco
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah, but by the same token, you could say Pacheco's legs were under him either. So, I mean, we're giving that excuse to Hunt, but not to Pacheco off of an injury? That's not fair.
No. Look, Pacheco came in, gave him some time to get himself ready, right? Kareem Hunt, like I said, started getting back in shape. He looked better than Pacheco. The thing is, because of his durability, because of his size, we know that he was able to get that 1 or 2 yards. I want a guy that's going to be able to get you those yards. Somebody you sitting over saying, well, are we going to rely on Carson Steele to do that for the 1 yard? I don't think Marcus agrees with that. I don't know if you agree with that either. What I do know is this Joker that's been around, who's been running, I want to hand it off to Kareem Hunt.
I know that if we draft a guy in the first 4 rounds, you don't need Hunt at that point. I don't think you need. I mean, that guy's probably gonna be your guy by midseason.
Man, you let him prove it. This is what training camp is all about, man. Look, we could get a guy here all day, but until he shows and we know for a fact that he is that guy, hey man, I don't want to go on what you just did in college. This is a whole different realm. And so when we sit there looking at guys on film in college, all looks good. You get in here with the big boys, right? And we learned that with King Suma. King Suma, oh man, he's looking good. Next thing you know, it's like sitting over there. He's holding.
Yeah. I don't want to just give it to him. I'm saying by mid-season.
Right, but I'm just saying.
That's assuming he takes the job. You know what I mean? He takes it and makes it.
That's the point. My point is that's why you bring in a Kareem Hunt. So to say if the guy's not ready, if he hasn't made the transition, we don't want a guy that's still bouncing around, still what's the name had to learn patience? Pacheco had to learn patience. He didn't learn that the first year. You know what I'm saying?
Kareem Hunt pretty much took off as a rookie. We gave that job to him real fast.
He did. Absolutely. He did. But I'm talking about the ones that's on the roster.
Yeah.
So
what round was Kareem? 3rd?
Yes.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt was a 3rd round pick.
Yeah. That's why he was able to come in and just take that job.
Yeah, but when he came in, he still had to prove it. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people didn't know who Kareem Hunt was. I knew who he was because he played with my best friends, the quarterback up there in Toledo. I went up there, I watched the games. I watched Kareem Hunt play. I knew who Kareem Hunt was. I'm just like, man, if teams could get him and they don't know too much about him, they're gonna get somebody here. A guy that had balance, who could get those yards. Unbelievable. And so I'm saying with a guy that is like a veteran guy that you could rely on, that you could definitely get in shape, and you keep him here. He ain't gonna cost you a whole lot of money. That's another thing. He ain't costing no money. It ain't like he's getting $8 million a year. You have bodies. Camp, you have bodies. And so a young guy, if he's learning, he can learn from a Kareem Hunt. He can see, maybe some of the things as far as patience. I think it's good for the team. Now, look, if you don't make it, then that's just competition. That's just what it is. But
I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse.
Huh?
I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but if we have a back we draft in the 3rd round and friggin' Pacheco and Kareem Hunt get like 9 carries for their 27 yards a game, I'm going to be pissed off, dude. Like, that's not – we need juice. We need juice bad. And we've seen what Hunt could pretty much give us. He's not going to do much better than what he did last year. We've seen the best of Pacheco pretty much at this point. So if we do invest a high pick into a guy who we want to be the guy, clearly third round's a high pick, or even our fourth is pretty high for a running back. If you have 15 guys in the stable, how is he ever going to take the job anyway? Off what, 4 carries a game? We don't run the ball that much, JD. That's the problem.
I know, but we talking about just the 4 guys. If you draft a dude, you got Pacheco, you got Elijah Moore. We don't know how Elijah Moore is going to do. If he's sitting over there saying that he's going to have a re-injury rate of 90%, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man, we can't just live with that. I'm not going to do it as a coach. I'm not going to just sit back and say, okay, we're going to hope and pray Elijah Moore is going to be able to make it after all these injuries he's had to endure, right? So why not bring in a Kareem Hunt? It's not really costing anything. Heck, we was doing it last year. You always bring about 4 guys in, 4 or 5. The competition is good.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So you want a young guy to be able to ascend, and if he is that guy to ascend to that point, man, by all means, sure, take it over, no doubt about it. But I'm just saying we don't know it until he actually gets in the game to show that thing, right? If he shows it in the game, by all means, you got a blessing. Move forward. We're gonna move him forward anyway, because he's earned that spot. But if he's still a little bit behind, he still ain't quite got that transition. We got guys that we know are proven, like a Kareem Hunt, like a Pacheco and Elijah Moore, if they're able to do that. So, and the thing is, Tage, we had that guy for the long haul, right? We're talking about big picture here. So, first year, we don't have to necessarily have him. Second, third, fourth year, yes, we still got him, right? If he becomes that guy, become that guy. We just want him to develop. This is the developmental phase that people come in here. So,
but it's about opportunity, especially for running backs. You know what I mean?
I get it. The thing is, like you said, Pacheco might not be here next year. They ain't gonna do a long-term deal. Elijah Moore's on a 1-year deal, right? Yeah. Kareem Hunt. So who else are you looking for? So he can't be the only guy in the stable. You'd have a guy that's going to be able to come in here. Like I said, if for Kareem Hunt, those 2 and 3 yards won us games. It got us games.
Yeah.
It don't look pretty. It don't. You know what he did though? He kept getting first downs for us when we needed it.
Yeah.
When our line wasn't blocking great up front, he made them look better. Better.
Quite frankly, this Eli Mitchell contract up to $3.5 million. I don't know the details of it, but like this kind of reminds me. You guys probably remember this a couple years ago. Remember offseason, we already had CH in the roster. We signed Ronald Jones. They got cut. Right, he was part of the training camp cuts. We brought him to our practice squad. We pulled him up later on the season. Then we cut him in mid-October that year. So like,
yeah.
It was a very similar contract to that, where it's like, oh man, he should make the team, but then he didn't actually make the team. And you bring Kareem Hunt in, you let them all, and you draft a running back, you let them all compete. Eli Mitchell could very well not make the team when we get that the 53-man roster with a contract like this. So
man, and Elijah Moore ran a 4.3 however long ago it was. That joke ain't no 4.3 right now. He just not.
Oh, that was like 3 years ago. That's not that long ago.
Hey man,
a lot of injuries since then.
Hey man, listen. At the knee surgery, I'm gonna tell you, I ran a 4.47 when I came out. After 2 knee surgeries, I was a different guy. I had to switch to now. All of a sudden, I'm not stretching the defense. You look at my film when I was in Philly, stretching the defense, out running safeties, all different things. To when I got to Kansas City, that wouldn't necessarily have to be my role. My role now, all of a sudden, was folding up defensive end and linebackers. Mm-hmm. I did a hell of a job of doing that. But the thing is, I wasn't the same guy I was at 4.47. I wasn't out running safeties like that anymore. I was running over them and giving them forearms and stuff. That's what I was doing. And they hated to see that. But back in the day, I'd outrun them all day. It wasn't even a point because I knew I could do it. So there's a reality in things as far as dealing with injury. It is. Sure. I'm sorry. I had to deal with it. I had to deal with the reality. I wasn't a 4.47 guy anymore, or 4.5. So, but
getting a contract like this isn't a lock to be on the be on the active 53. So that doesn't tell you. It's up to $3.5 million. It's not like his base is $3.5 million. No, it's up to 3.5. So we don't know what the details of that are. So if he proves he can stay healthy and make the 53 man, then we're talking about that. But and also to the earlier point, Kareem Hunt was the backup running back when drafted. He had to go through training camp being behind Spencer Ware. and with CJ Spiller and Charkandrick West getting reps behind him. So he had to take the job from Spencer Ware.
Yeah, but he took it in training camp. He didn't take it by week 10.
No, he took it in training camp, but I mean, he was listed as the backup. But you said they gave it to him.
They didn't make him work in the season by splitting 3 carries for each of them.
No, I was just saying, but you said they drafted him. He was the guy. He wasn't the guy.
No. But he was the guy all season.
Yeah, but he took the job from Spencer Ware and
took the job in training camp.
And CJ Spiller were behind him.
No, I know, but like that's not really. I mean, two weeks of working for it. I mean, come on now. Like we didn't split 5 carries a game between him and 5 guys all season and make him like prove during the season. I'm saying if a guy looks better in training camp, he's our guy.
No, I was just saying he wasn't
anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Right, I was just saying he wasn't drafted and the guy like he had.
Yeah, but that's why I said Kareem Hunt can go into training camp. Doesn't mean he's coming out of training camp. That's what I meant. Like,
yeah, and my point is the same with Eli Mitchell here as well.
Absolutely, right.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Look, if we draft a top prospect, I mean, let's say top 7 running back. You got to remember this is a deep running back draft. The 7th best running back in a deep running back draft is like around a top 3 to 4 running back in a normal draft. So if you're talking about drafting like a top 3 to 7 running back, like, and he proves that he's that guy in training camp, I mean, yeah. Goodbye to Camp Potter.
I mean, I would think, man, just, responsibly you bring a guy like Kareem Hunt to training camp. If he doesn't make it, he doesn't make it. But it's good. It's good morale for the team. All the guys love him. I think that's what you do.
People love Kareem Hunt, man.
Yeah, well, hey, man, listen.
Kareem Hunt's got a big fan base.
Absolutely, no question. Look at everybody on the chat in there saying this. Drew
I know. I'm it's like the.
I'll tell you what. You seem like you're not a Kareem Hunt fan.
It's like the last scene of Revenge.
Taze, you're trying to kick him off the team.
It's the last scene of Revenge of the Nerds right now, dude. They're like chanting his name and shit. Yeah, I get it.
Look. There's certain guys. Okay, Kareem Hunt's, I think, that guy, and everybody does love the story. They fell in love with him when he first got here. It was unfortunate everything that happened with him. He was able to come back.
Yeah, everyone's chasing that drug, that first feeling they had with that drug, but it ain't like that anymore, man.
Look, Tage, we won games with Kareem Hunt last year. When we needed to get the yards, we needed to get the wins, Kareem Hunt provided that for us. He provided that for us.
Yeah, I don't know why you're so hesitant. You're so hesitant to give Kareem Hunt any credit.
To carry last year, guys.
Dude, you're very hesitant to give Kareem Hunt any credit, Tasia, but you want to give Pacheco credit?
He averaged 3.6 a carry last year. Let's not over romanticize it, though. You know what I mean?
So hold on, wait. Okay, stop. You're sitting there saying that he only averaged 3.6 was all his fault, and it wasn't. It wasn't his fault.
Oh, it was the $80 million interior line's fault then.
Yeah, absolutely. If we watched it, I'm gonna tell the truth. If you was on like the grading shows, you see how much the line graded up. I don't know how many times they got a B. Everything else was C and C minus and all of those every single week because they did come off the football. They didn't. So a lot of it wasn't on Kareem Hunt. It was that line that was up front, that 80 million line that you were talking about. Absolutely. I was very critical of them. Very critical. And the thing is, the film showed it. It showed that. So look, Kareem Hunt was out there getting yards when people wasn't blocking for him. He had to. Sometimes
I think Kareem Hunt's good for a yard. I think he's good short yardage guy. I think he's a good goal line guy. He sniffs it out.
Good. We don't have anybody else could do that.
But he doesn't have when you get to this. But we need a guy when you get to the second level has got juice to make a 8-yard gain, a 20-yard gain, and he can't do that, man.
Hey, man, look, we don't want him for that though. We want.
But we need that though. But we need that.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm saying when you need a hammer, use a hammer. Kareem Hunt was a hammer. You need tools for every little thing. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you keep a guy like that around. Why not? You don't get rid of your hammer when you don't need to.
I agree. I just don't think he should be. I think people want him to be the guy still. I think we're past that time.
It's not the guy. We're not saying that at all.
I think if you poll the viewers, I think they want him to be the guy.
No, I think they realize his value here. That they realize his value that he showed last year to get us to the Super Bowl. And like Drew Brescia said, we don't get to the Super Bowl without a Kareem Hunt. We just
would have been screwed without him last year. I'm not denying that.
Absolutely. Sure. Matter of fact, to the point, to our detriment, we didn't run the football with him when we should have.
I agree with that too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And the 20-yard run burst you're talking about, Tasia, that's a guy you can draft in this draft, and you can have him with Pacheco, who you can't trust. Kareem Hunt, you can trust because this guy was off the couch playing every game this season. Okay, with injuries and all that stuff, the guy was getting ice bath 2 times a day because he was so nicked up. He was still playing.
All right, but let's.
But I feel like, but
I'm
no,
not even the
but,
biggest Pacheco fan. You're selling off Pacheco. Pacheco also helped us get Super Bowls.
He did.
Sure.
Okay.
And no one's saying he didn't, but this year he didn't look like that
you
guy.
Can't trust him. He was our back in the Super Bowl.
He's been injured over the last 2 years, dude. I mean, what do you
I know, but he had
from me?
300 yards in the last year's 2 years ago's playoffs. Like that's big time. Like that's
Kareem Hunt was at 800. He had 800 coming in, and we didn't utilize him like we should have.
Yeah. I wouldn't say we can't trust Pacheco. That's all.
No, when I say can't trust, I can't trust him to be healthy, Tasia. That's what I'm saying. I mean, are you arguing that?
Yeah, I am. He's had one injury, one major where he had to play the majority of games in one season.
Look, I don't think it's and this is where the conversation go. I don't think it's really.
Yeah, he played 17 games, 14 games, and then last year was his biggest injury prone season. 17 and 14, I wouldn't say it's injury prone.
So you said
last year was bad.
Okay, so you're sitting there saying that you want a guy that can do all those things and run and stuff like that. Why have a Pacheco when it's going to be redundant? And so if it comes up and Mitchell the same, that we're talking about 3 different bodies doing the same thing. Kareem Hunt is the only one I know can get that extra yard when you need it. He's the only one that's going to get you the 1 or 2 yards when he turns him legs and he turns his body. And he's made the offensive line last year look good.
Pacheco was pretty good at that. Last year, he just wasn't. He was terrible at that.
Who's that?
I don't know what the hell happened to him. Pacheco used to be good for positive yardage whenever he touched the ball. Just last year, he was terrible at it.
He lost weight. He came down. He went down to like 202. Remember?
Yeah, because the year before, man, that was Pacheco's thing. He'd always get you 1 at the very least. He was always a positive yardage guy. Just last year, it was a rough year.
I don't know. I ain't never seen Pacheco like that.
I mean, he averaged 4.6 and 4.9. It wasn't because he was busting 90-yard runs. I think he wasn't really busting long runs at all.
So he was breaking tackles? So you're saying he's a tackle breaker? Is what you're saying about Pacheco? He breaks tackles.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a deep. He's not a deep. What do you call it? A long ball guy. I mean, he's not like a home run hitter.
No, but I'll say he's mid range.
He was getting his 4.6, 4.9 the hard way, really, right?
The line was doing a good job, blocking up there too. I'm talking about last year when I was sitting there and I'm grading the line. I don't think those guys looked that great up front. That last year they didn't. Same thing, Pacheco. Pacheco, when he came back, he still has some of that impatience. I think he wanted to come back. He wanted to do well. And the thing was, he reverted back to some of his old ways. I'm not downplaying Pacheco at all. I like Pacheco. I do agree that he's not your long ball hitter. I think he's kind of like your mid-range guy, right? All I'm saying is, he
runs hard. He runs hard.
Yeah, he runs hard. We know all the churning and stuff, all that knee drive and stuff like that. Sometimes it goes nowhere. So he runs into the tackler. Sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Bottom line is, I think we're all saying the same thing here. We're fine to bring back Kareem Hunt, but we all want us to draft another running back as well to have that guy. I think we're all saying the same thing here. Taja just wants he's questionable on bringing back Kareem Hunt for as at least a camp buy to compete with Eli Mitchell.
No, I'm cool with Cam.
I think he comes to camp. I think he beats out Eli Mitchell here. I think Eli Mitchell's a great solid ad, but I just don't think it's the end of the running back room either here. So, I think you do bring back a Kareem Hunt and you do draft another guy. So,
knowing our luck, Eli would look great in camp and then get injured week 3.
Yeah, a preseason. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, pretty interesting conversation. We had pretty much everybody's in the chat to Kareem Hunt fan. I think I maybe saw 2 people who agree with Tasia. So, not bad. Not bad.
I mean, everyone should want a guy who can run a 20-yard run. Okay.
No, I don't think anyone's saying Kareem Hunt's the only guy, and that's it. We don't need to draft a running back. I think everyone's on board drafting a running back. That's the thing. It's not just a Kareem Hunt.
And giving him burn though. Don't just draft the guy.
Yeah, third and 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%. Absolutely. He should get burned. If I know he could come in and get you those 3 yards, and if that 3 yards is good to me, and we needed 3 just to get the first down, we need that guy. We need that guy to get into the end zone. We didn't have that guy last year. You know who got in the end zone when we needed any for that 1 or 2 yards? Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
We didn't have that guy. We didn't have it with Pacheco. That's why we had to abandon the run. We started throwing the ball on the 5 yard going in.
Yeah.
We doing shovel passes and everything.
And then even we talked about this every week on the show. They didn't use Kareem Hunt enough. I remember every week on the betting show, I was like, oh, he's going to have over 1.5 catches this week, because at some point they're going to implement him in the passing game. They never really did. I think he had 1 week where he had more than 4 catches. It was odd. They never really used his versatility.
Yeah, man.
All right, so now we're going to get to a big hot topic. I know this one, everyone thought running backs.
Good conversation, boys. I love it. Good talk, fellas. I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is a big hot topic that obviously you guys know.
And by the way, JD, I am now going to pull out some running backs for prospect talk. I'm pulling them out big time.
Yeah, I want to see some. I do.
We had Judkins last week. You guys are big fans of that.
That's true. Yeah. That's your Judkins are bust. You only want one running back.
Yeah. Some people are Kareem Hunt and bust. I'm Judkins or bust.
Yeah, your Judkins are bust.
Yeah. So Kareem Hunt at running back, obviously that was a big conversation here. But this was Nick Bolton, probably the most polarizing, which is crazy to say, but Nick Bolton, probably the most polarizing player in Chiefs Kingdom and Chiefs Twitter for. I can't remember a guy who's been more polarizing than him. It's either you're
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you're either a giant fan of Nick Bolton or you're not a fan at all. So Chiefs locked up Nick Bolton to a 3-year, $45 million extension with $30 million in guarantees. It's a flat deal, $15 million in each year, the first 2 guaranteed. So Tasia took to Twitter after seeing a lot of people dogging this. Saying the Chiefs, Eagles, and Bills just paid their linebackers a total of $146 million, but Twitter GMs know way more about team building than Veach, Roseman, and Beam. And JD said, not the GMs of 3 teams that have won more Super Bowls and been to more postseason games in the last 5 years than anyone else. Geez, you don't say. So this pretty much just tells you a lot of people were saying, oh, it's too much money for Nick Bolton. We could have drafted someone, yada, yada, yada. Drew Tranquil could have won the green dot. I've seen everything. And people forget, it's like Drew Tranquil probably had more head-scratching plays than Nick Bolton did. And Drew Tranquil was supposed to be our coverage guy. And I saw him get lost in coverage a lot of times. And a lot of times Nick Bolton was getting called out for stuff that wasn't even his. That was Tranquil's guys that just dropped in his zone. So anyway, we bring back Bolton. I know JD and I are huge fans of Nick Bolton. Tasia, you're a fan of this deal. What did you guys make of this Nick Bolton and just kind of the overall the polarization and divisiveness when it comes to Nick Bolton in the Chiefs world?
Go ahead, Tage. I'll let you knock us out first, brother.
Yeah, okay. I think there's a lot of nuance to this whole conversation that just people want to go black and white. My guy spent too much money, didn't spend enough money. Did we overpay for Bolton? Maybe, right? So it just really depends on how you look at the whole thing. If you had a number in your head before free agency started and we went over that number by a penny, spending someone else's money, then sure, we overpaid for him, right? But if you just look at the market to see what other lead linebackers got, Sherwood, I put my tweet out before, Sherwood got the same exact contract that Bolton got. Sherwood, Bernard, Bond, all got very, very similar deals. This is just what the cost was. That's it. I thought about this for a while. So if I own a restaurant, okay, and the chef has a meal that he's cooking up, a special of the day, and it calls for eggs. You go to the market and you pay whatever the store or the market charges for eggs. You pay the X number of dollars for that, right? That's it. End of story. But if I came back to my restaurant with all my ingredients and the chef's pulling them out, he's like, whoa, where the hell's the eggs? I'm like, oh, yeah, they were $2 more than I wanted. So just open the cabinet in the drawers and figure it out and just try to move some things around and try to cook around it, right? He's gonna be like, dude, you're making me completely change the recipe to my meal. And I know how delicious it's gonna be over $2. So no, you don't walk away from Bolton saying, oh, we spent it's $2 or $3 more million a year than we really want to spend. So, yeah, we got to find a new captain of our defense. No, that's not how it works. I know at the end of the day, we all live in regret. I would be a lot more pissed off if I saw Bolton go to the Broncos for the same exact contract that 4 other linebackers got, and we didn't want to pony up and pay that over $2 million. I would be furious about that. So, in general, did we pay more than you'd like to see linebackers get paid in your mind? Sure. Did he get paid more compared to the market? No. It was market value. That's what he costs.
Yeah. The reality is this, that Nick Bolton is the general of our defense. He is Spag's brain out there on the field. He's a guy that puts everybody in a position to be ready, to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. He is the catalyst between the D-line and the secondary, okay, to make sure everybody is on the same page. And the thing is, his value was rewarded. That's exactly what the Chiefs did. So, yeah, it was the market, but also, too, like you said right now, if you go ahead and get him for this deal, next year and the year after that, you're going to sit there and say, man, we got a value for Nick Bolton. He's a leader of our defense. He's a leading tackler on our defense. He's been out there just making play after play after play. Okay. When he came into the league, he was a leading tackler in the SEC history, I think, at the time, especially that one year when he came in. He's a tackling machine. There's no question about it. He's a solid little linebacker that you're going to get. He don't have to be 6'3" Fred Warner or Raekwon Smith. Raekwon Smith didn't play that great this past year. But Nick Bolton is a value for us. He's an important piece of what we do defensively because of the scheme that we run. And people can sit there and say Drew Tranquill did a good job. Drew Tranquill is not Nick Bolton. He's not. He doesn't have the same body type. He gets lost in the sauce sometimes. And it's not taking anything from Drew Tranquill. He's a better cover linebacker. We understood that some of the limits of Nick Bolton is in coverage, but he does a good enough job to be able to get away from it. The thing is, if you get guys in the draft, and we keep going back to the defensive tackles, the defensive end, that can create pressure, it makes his job a lot easier. Guys in front of him, it makes it a job a lot easier for the linebackers that's in front of him as far as the defensive line. Nick Bolton is the guy for us. I called him elite. The reason I call him elite is because when you see him every single game he shows up, I think he might have had 1 or 2 bad games last year. And the thing is, if he does something bad, right, he didn't tackle Josh Allen going into the game. Oh, my God, look at Nick Bolton didn't do a good job. Well, shoot, you didn't talk about all the other 40 plays that he played in. He did well. It's the one that you're always going to hold on to, right, because you hate him because of whatever reason, all right? You got a bias against him because he's not tall enough. He's not this guy. He's not that guy. Nobody's going to be perfect. But one thing I will tell you, and Spags will tell you it's himself, Nick Bolton needs to be on this defense. And the reason they signed him to this contract is because they knew they needed somebody that was a staple to the things that we did. Optimistic James says consistent. No question about it. So did we overpay? I wouldn't say we did. I think this is something that they rewarded him because of his value to the team. They saw that, and they rewarded him for it. And I think they said, man, he does such a good job. We're going to reward you for staying here. Same thing with Trey Smith. They gave him a tag. Why? Because they love Trey Smith. They think he brings everything to the table that they needed. Decided to keep him as far as then a Joe Tooney. Now, he's younger and all those different things, but that's why when they tagged him for the 23, they didn't mind doing that. Those are the two guys that we're talking about, right? That we're talking about Trey Smith and Nick Bolton. Guess what? Both those guys are here. Both those guys are here. And those two guys are a priority when they start looking at it. And it's the same thing looking at the draft. Can you go get a younger guy that can do this? Sure. He may be more athletic. He may be a little bit bigger than Nick Bolton. But can he do all the other things Nick Bolton does? Is his IQ on the same level, football-wise, as Nick Bolton? Can he come in and call my defense, which is like one of the most, creative schemes that's out there for Spags to get guys in the right position, to call it the way that he wants to? Or is that going to take time? Who's to say a guy may never get it? That's why they was able to let a guy like Willie Gayton leave. You know why? because they said we got Nick Bolton here. And somebody we got here like a Drew Tranquil could come in and play that position. So for me, when a team and a coach is sold on a guy, I know for a fact they understand the value that he has. They understand it fully. And they understand, like, if we don't have this guy here, things do fall apart. We may not be as efficient. We may not be as effective. We need a guy like this here. So people may not like it, okay? I didn't necessarily love the Jaylon Moore move, but I trust it. They fine. Do your due diligence. I'm cool with it. Y'all like it, I love it. This one I love because I know his value. I've seen it. I watched him play. And I'm not talking about the times he gets beat by Isaiah Likely. If you a guy, you're going to get beat. Trent McDuffie got beat. All these dudes do happen. Sometimes Chris Jones get beat one-on-one. We seen it. So, but for us, Nick Bolton is that guy. He's that guy. So I don't know what everybody else is looking for and stuff like that. We won, Super Bowls with him. He's made plays in the Super Bowl that made, that let us win and scoop and score. And I mean, come on, man. I mean, his impact over the years since he's been here, I don't think we can't mimic that. There's nobody here that we have. I don't know if we get somebody like that was going to cost you more money to be here at that point. So they knew it. They was like, we got to get this deal done. And I'm glad they did. I'm glad
you're getting too.
You know what you're getting.
You're not like surprised. Like I don't have any doubt that we're going to get the Bolton we got the past couple of years and then maybe some. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not paying like an unknown, which is why he had a market, because like any team that gets him knows what they're getting.
Absolutely. So
he was the only linebacker, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, the only linebacker, a free agent middle linebacker that was 25 years or younger going into his free agency. And happy birthday, Nick Bolton. Today's his birthday, March 10th. So there you go. Big deal on his birthday. But you see comments like, Spags called him the general of the defense. A couple weeks ago, leading up to the Super Bowl, the linebackers coach, Brandon Daly, quote, said, I don't even want to think about life without Nick Bolton. That's your linebackers coach. I know it's your linebackers coach. That's like your guy. That's his guy. But to hear a comment like that, though, like I don't know I don't want to think about life without him. And Spags, now he's calling him the general of his defense. Spags said he can only think of one other player that kind of reminds him of that. It was the captain of his defense on those Giants teams was Antonio Pierce. He just says, like, the leadership and the IQ, he said it just stands out like Antonio Pierce did for him. So that tells you a lot about how they feel about him. This guy's only 25. So young. So young.
And I want to say to tie us into draft again, also would not be surprised if you see a top 1 to 5 round linebacker, because Chenal is a free agent after next season. He's in a contract year. Tranquil has 2 more years left, but he's also 31 turning 32. So, our linebacker room wasn't as stable in the long term. So Bolton gives us that stability. Now, if you have a Sam linebacker you like a lot in this draft, he's there. Do it. Take it now, right? That's kind of what I was alluding to earlier with, like, not just saying like, oh, a safety's available, let's do it. But in situations like this where you're like, oh, I don't know where our linebacker room is going to be in a year or 2 from now. Shoot, like, can we afford Chenal? Does he like tear it up this year and price himself out? Can we have 2 $15 to $20 million linebackers? I don't know if we can, right? So you don't know that. So a guy you draft in the 3rd or 4th round might be your starting linebacker in a year, 2 years from now.
I know that when he was hurt and he missed the span a couple of times, from the injury, there was 5 games. Tranquil came in and played that position. We had Cochran came in. And the thing is, if teams see that they got a guy that is at least comparable to you or even close, they might go with that pick just to save money. But they made a decision after looking at it saying, no, we can't do without it. Like you see, he's sitting there saying, I can't even think about a life without Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton's putting everybody like, you need to be here in the A-gap, C, this is how we're running it. And he's letting everybody know, like, man, you can't, you got to be here in coverage. Bless you. And so those things, man, we playing on a team, and I'm watching defenses, okay? And I used to be Mike linebacker, okay? I don't know if it's still on here or not, but you need a joker right there as your mic to put everybody in order. He's the sergeant at arms. He's the guy to get everything. He's the general. He's putting everybody where you need to be. And so if Spags is running something that's going to be a little bit more difficult, Nick Bolton's going to get it right. He understands that. And you know who he's going to communicate to? He's going to communicate with Nick. He's going to communicate with Nick. He don't have to go talk to 8 guys. Hey, Nick, I need such and such. Coach, I got it.
Yeah.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
Would you say it's easier to replace a Sam linebacker than a Mike?
Absolutely. No doubt.
And we basically chose more or less. A lot of people said this online too. We basically chose Nick Bolton over Leo Chenal. That's what we pretty much did.
Yeah. I didn't know Drew Crandall. You said Drew's going to be 32?
I think he's 30. No. By the time his contract comes up, he's 20.
Okay. I was like, God.
He's 20. He'll be 30 before the season starts, and by the next year, he'll be 31.
Okay. No, it's good. I was like, I didn't know Drew was.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I didn't word that correctly.
Oh, yeah.
It's some fans want a combination of wants, and they're speculating with the amount of times Willie Gay has commented on every Chiefs player who's gotten a contract this offseason that Willie Gay wouldn't be surprised if he comes back. He signed for like a 1-year, $2 million deal in New Orleans last year. So, he's not breaking the bank by any means. And I think he missed a good amount of games in New Orleans this past year. So his market's probably not too hot. He knows the system already.
He's only 27.
He's still young, and he's an athletic beast. To have him back, I would love a reunion with Willie Gay, and I know every Chief fan wants that. So,
yeah, intangibles matter in this team, no question about it. That's why we have one of the best, run defenses. A lot of it has to do with the guy that's right there in the middle, and so you need for him to hawk guys down. He can run sideline to sideline. That's his forte. His forte is he could fill in the gaps. He could get there and make plays. We've seen him do it over and over again since he's been here. Never been disappointed. Yeah, he's going to get beat. Yeah, sometimes these things are going to happen. I've seen other guys get beat. I've seen Fred Warner get beat. I've seen Raekwon Smith get beat. I've seen whoever you name, Queen, name them.
Yeah.
Name them. So,
yeah. And not to mention, the other guys who got signed this free agency, Bond. The guy's older than Nick Bolton. Also hasn't really done it much. This is the first year we actually saw Bond do that at the middle linebacker spot. He got paid pretty much what Nick Bolton's been getting paid. He's been doing it for a few years. So, it's interesting that he's got there's such polarizing takes. And I don't know, not being from the Kansas City area, maybe I don't really know, but maybe it's because he went to Mizzou, and then we have a lot of Kansas and Kansas State fans in the area, and there's just too much of this. I don't get it. I really don't understand the pushback and the hate that he gets. It's pretty wild to me. You would think a guy who went to Mizzou would have some love in the area, and it's too much hate for Nick Bolton for no reason.
You know what it is? I think it is like he's not your prototypical guy. He's not 6'4", 6'3". He's not that guy. And so they say, oh, he's tiny, he can't do this and all that. Who was I can't think of the linebacker. Played with the Rams, then played with Washington.
Fletcher, London Fletcher?
London Fletcher. He's a London Fletcher guy. He is. And London Fletcher gets it all right. He ain't going to be the best coverage guy, but he's going to get everything else right. Who's going to do that.
He was a beast.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're getting to our final topic here, guys. I know everyone she's kidding was happy about this one, especially given I think the signing happened right when this whole Xavier Worthy stuff was kind of in flux. And Hollywood Brown, Chiefs are going back to Hollywood, baby. Chiefs signed Hollywood Brown to a 1-year, $6.85 million deal. Can be up to $11 million, $3 million signing bonus, 3.35 base. Pretty much the same deal he signed last year, a little bit less than the deal he signed last year. I think it was his incentives were up to $13 million last year. Now it's up to $11 million. So Hollywood's come back at a kind of a discount based on what he signed for last year. Rashee Rice probably gonna get suspended for the first 4 games this season. That's still, they're still working that whole thing out. That situation is going to let it be played out. But Rice probably gets suspended for the first 4 games. Worthy at the time when this signing did happen, we thought something was happening with that, but no suspensions happening with Worthy there. So Worthy and Hollywood Brown start the season out at least. To get a full season of Hollywood, we saw his first game back after missing the entire year. Comes in, he gets what, 7 targets, 4 for 45. Yeah, it was kind of inconsistent, the amount of targets he got after that. But Hollywood coming back. We saw, the kind of the rapport that he and Pat had so early on in the Texas workouts during the offseason. And then during training camp, everyone posting videos of them, throwing bombs, Pat throwing bombs to Hollywood. What do you guys make of the deal that Hollywood signed, especially in comparison to some of these deals that are being given out? Josh Palmer's deal, it comes to mind. What did you guys make of the deal that Hollywood got, and just overall thoughts on him coming back to Kansas City?
This is easy peasy. It really is. It makes a whole lot of sense. The question was, are we going to have Patrick Mahomes have enough time to throw the ball up to Hollywood Brown? Now we got a left tackle. He's going to be that guy. This makes a whole lot of sense. And so when you sit there saying you got Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Rashid Rice, until they can all get together, it's going to be dangerous. I think this is what we were looking for last year. And so now these guys are healthy. They're ready to go. Much needed wide receiver that we didn't know we was going to have. And so now we got him. It's perfect for us. Perfect.
Yeah, just perfect. Good timing. I think I'm happy that Hollywood, you see a lot of players who have rough years think, oh, I already took less money in a prove it year. Even though they don't prove it, they still want just more money. So it's good to see Hollywood be like, you know what? I was injured. Let's just do this again. Let's do it. I have the same. It's nice to see a guy confident in himself to be like, let's just do the same thing. I'm confident. I'll tear it up this year. I'm still young. And then next year, I see Josh Palmer's getting paid. I'll get that and more if I tear it up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's great to see that. I'm happy he's back. I know, say it again and again. Even with that 1-year deal, with the way receivers are getting paid, would not be surprised if he took a receiver early in this draft because the market is just exploding everywhere for receivers. So we're lucky to get Hollywood back for 1 year, cheap rental. But who's to say going forward what's going to happen? So yeah, awesome, but wouldn't stop me from investing in a young guy.
Well, the salary cap keeps going up. You can maybe sign him back again next year.
Yeah,
who knows? I mean, there's obviously a certain level of trust and chemistry, and he definitely liked being here too.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he signed right away, didn't even wait to get to free agency. I mean, that tells you a lot. Especially, I pointed to it 2 weeks ago. Super Bowl, we're getting dominated. There's a video of Hollywood going over to Mahomes on the bench saying, it's been a pleasure playing with you, man. I really, love playing with you. And Pat said, yeah, bro, we'll be back, though. We'll be back. And that's a guy who's a free agent. He was like, yeah, for sure. They dap each other up. And look, he's signing in Kansas City. But I'm seeing a question here, just talking about the rounding out the receiver room, kind of the running it back aspect of it. So Justin Watson, a guy who's been kind of a mainstay here for a while. He's gone now, which some people in Chiefs Kingdom, I'm not going to say who, some people were kind of celebrating Justin Watson being gone because now maybe some other guys can get some reps. I think I was one of those people. But yeah, Nico Remigio, that we finally get to see him. We saw him as a punt returner. We saw him return the ball. It was great. Finally get to see him a little bit. We saw him during Week 18 dominate against Denver. Get him some reps. There's guys like Justin Rawson there. There's guys like the Brownlee. There's Tyquan Thornton. We have a few guys, some young bucks who could possibly get some more playing time. That's that, but at the top of the receiver room, you got Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood. So that means now you got to kind of fill out the 4 to 6 range. Now, Tasia talks about drafting receiver, JD. Where do you stand on drafting receiver versus going to what we have in-house right now, or signing another veteran?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. Young guy that could kind of fit in. You show him the ropes. If he's got the ability, we're going to utilize him. I mean, he's got to be the right guy. I'm not against it. I wouldn't use a high pick on a guy. I don't think I'll use a high pick on a guy. I think we just got more needs there. And then, of course, if you do have, like you said, Worthy, Hollywood, Rice, Remigio did a good job. Somebody's talking about Cooper Kupp. Does Cooper Kupp come here for like a little deal that you might want to get? I don't know. No question. I don't know. So, like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not.
What's interesting about receiver, and Marcus and you and I have talked about this on the side recently, is that you got to look at future and what you're going to be missing soon, right? And I think everyone's so obsessed with trying to replace Kelce with a tight end. And with Kelce, you're not going to find a Kelce to replace a Kelce with. It's not going to happen. Like those tight ends like that are so special and rare. It's not going to be easy to replace them. But I think with Kelce, we need to start being creative and think about how to replace some of Kelce's skill set. Not the whole package, not the size, not the weight, everything, 6'6", wiggle. You can't, not easy. But if you get creative, you start looking at talented slot receivers that have some of that same skill set that Kelce has. You might start to see us after this year become more of a 3-receiver threat instead of a 2-receiver and Kelce threat. You get a guy who knows how to find soft spots, can get on the same page with Pat, and have that innate ability that Kelce has where people have no idea what side he's going to when he shakes loose. You get a guy like that at receiver, maybe instead of tight end, it might make this whole replacing Kelce thing a lot easier because it's not going to be easy to replace that skill set at tight end. So maybe you try to replace that at receiver this year in plans for Kelce, going away next year.
Yeah. And you even still have, a Noah Gray and a Jared Wilder.
Yeah, totally.
Watching. So, I mean, you could definitely do that. But I do agree with you. Having that 3 wide receiver set and what we were looking at last year was pushing the deep ball. I think we were somewhere like last in the league pushing the ball down the field at 20 and over. And we live in that 5-yard range. And that's got to change. That's got to change. So, Hendershot.
So Chiefs Tomahawk. I'll probably make these guys my receiver talk. Restrepo from Miami and Noel from Iowa State. Those are my 2 guys I like to do that with.
Yeah, and also I'm thinking about just kind of Kelce retiring and Hollywood, sticking around for 1-year deal. Maybe that's the guy they, replace that $19 million that Kelce was making. And I'm not saying he's going to make $19 million, but maybe that's the guy who ends up getting a lot of the Kelce money is Hollywood sticking around. Because Hollywood's he's like 26, 27. He's a young dude too. So I could see him, hey, Hollywood, stick around for 1 more year, sign another 1 more year deal. And then when Kelce's gone,
28.
maybe 28.
It's 28. Mm-hmm.
28. So, get him for maybe a 2 or 3 year deal starting next offseason. Be nice. Be nice to have a 3-wide set like that, especially, with life after Kelce. You got to think of creative ways to kind of, fill in and try to, get the most of the Kelce traits that we're going to be missing. But that's a 2027 conversation, not a 2026, 2027 conversation. Not right now. But all right, guys, that brings us to the end of our Monday morning tight end show. I know it's a long show, guys, but there's a lot of things to get through, a lot of stuff happening, free agency frenzy. You got to get to all of it. So we appreciate everyone sticking around. We had around 300-something people in the show tonight. Appreciate you all sticking around and talking Chiefs with us. JD, send us away, brother.
Man, look, it was a great conversation. I love the engagement on the chat. To talk about some of these things, hash it out a little bit. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really productive show. And so a lot of you guys came in. Trail, you came in late. That's okay. You can always check it back, man. It's a good one. It's a good one. So last a long time. I'm the Brown. Appreciate it. Look, y'all didn't get to see I'm the Brown said the reason I'm not running a 4-5 anymore, it was because of the Little Debbie's. That's a soft blow right there. I'm the Brown. Let me ask y'all like Little Debbie snack cakes? Did y'all have a favorite?
Oh yeah.
What, the oatmeal cookies?
The oatmeal cream pies.
Okay. Oatmeal cream pies or
oatmeal cream pies or cosmic brownies are pretty good too. I like cosmic brownies.
I can do the brownies.
The brownies with the little sprinkles in them, JD. They're like little
yeah.
pretty good.
I love the Nutter Butters. Yeah.
Nutty Buddies, yeah.
Yeah, Nutty Buddies. Yeah, I love those jokers. So, listen, appreciate you all coming out. Just want to say bye to everybody in here. Thank you so much. We'll come back on Wednesday. Star Crunch. That's another one right there, Demetrio Spence.
I used to like Star Crunch when I was a kid. I can't. Yeah, not
too sweet now. When you
I can still do the oatmeal cream pie. That's probably about it.
Oh yeah, oatmeal cream pie is always good. I had one. The reason I said I had one last week. I haven't had one in years, and I said, "Why did I do that to myself?" And sure enough, I gave one to Susan, my wife. And next thing you know, she's at work, and I'm looking at. She took a picture of her drawer. She got a big old box of oatmeal cream pies.
They're addicting, man. You have one of those things, you get like 4 of those things.
What about the Entenmann's donut holes, little pop-ems?
You said, so I love the cookies on those. I didn't like that. That was about the only thing I could do. Yeah. I didn't really, but those the Entenmann's I think are a little bit more kind of northern ones because I didn't really see them until I get up to like Jersey and Philly. I would see those in like Wawa's. Like Wawa's. We get a Wawa's down here.
Those glazed donut holes, though, they're good.
Huh?
Those glazed donut holes, man, they're good.
Oh, yeah.
Walmart actually carries, I don't know if any other store carries them, but they make Little Debbie's like the Christmas tree, Little Debbie cakes.
Yeah.
They make like the ice cream version of that at Walmart. Like they have Little Debbie's branded the ice creams of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, JD's planning his escape.
No, sir. No. I'll put it down. That's why I said, why'd I do it for the oatmeal pie? I had to leave up out of the place. I was down at my mom's. She had one. I was like, I had one. I'm like, oh, I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Should have never did it to myself. Yeah, but it's tasty cake. Yeah, tasty cake's another one. I didn't really have a whole lot of those either.
Yeah, they do have the oatmeal cream pie, Little Debbie's ice cream.
Do they? Wow.
They do. Get a Walmart.
All right. Linda Hunter, appreciate it. Witchy Hall, G Pick is in here. Drew Boucher, Anshanaut, some of our guests, Nana Sherry, thank you so much. G Pick, Optimistic James, appreciate it, man. Always bringing it like always. Valerie Sanders, Trey L, Demetrio Spence, the barbershop, appreciate it, my guy. Chiefs Tomahawk Talk, Chiefs fan 211. Sasha, thank you so much for your time. Linda Hunter, thank you so much. Gail Whiting. Have a good night to you as well. Justin The Way, Melly Matrix, Sin McBride. Let me see who else we got. Jerron Mitchell, Nana Sherry, Andrea Chenault, Witchy Hall. Pono Kwa was in here. Appreciate him coming in. Newt probably fell asleep when Newt just texting, Valerie Saunders. Let me see who else we got. Sarah 73, I think I already said. No, it was a good show tonight. Good show. Just talking and everybody coming in. I'm glad everybody had a chance, man, sticking with us, talking this. Hannah, appreciate it so much for the contribution. Same thing to Monty Green Beans for your contribution as well. Let me see who else did we had.
JD's we got a few comments. Audria Chanel, good night. Chief Concerns family, pray for my brother. He's in the hospital. 2nd-degree burns on his face.
Oh man,
sorry about that, Audria.
Man,
praying for you.
Yeah, sorry to hear about that, Andrea. So we will be praying for your brother for sure. Okay.
And Stu has another shout out here. Love goes up to Jason and the Lord for watching over his brother Tim after an accident. Tim and Jason are both great people. Is Tim okay? I had no idea.
Right, man. Tim's all right. Yeah, man. He flipped his car, man. When you see it, man, he totaled it. And I'm just like, man, that man, blessing to walk away from those things. He's a little sore, but he's doing all right. Thanks, Stu, for reminding of that. Look, and if y'all don't know us, your first time in here, we always come in and we pray for others and think about them, and we always want to send our thoughts and all those things out with people as well. But that's what we do. We believe in, having each other's backs, supporting one another, loving on each other the way that we should do. And so I do appreciate that. And so if there's anything that we need to do for each and every one of us, please let us know. We don't want to hesitate to do that. So my brother Tim, I let everybody know because he watches these shows a little bit later on. He'll watch these, man. So, y'all go ahead and send a prayer out for him, throw him up, hold him up as well. He'll appreciate that so much. So
love you, Tim. Hope everything's all right, buddy.
Oh yeah. Tough guy, man. Air Force guy. So he to him, he loves it. He loves it. So he's, big bruh, man. Big bruh. So it's always, man, you take nothing for granted. Take nothing for granted, man. So and I tell you guys, that's why I love each and every one of you guys that's in here on this channel, for each and every one of you that comes in here. I love you, Dash brothers, Marcus and Tage. But you guys, man, y'all know how I feel about you. I love you guys.
Yeah, right. I got you.
Yeah, fully. So throwback Harris as well. Don Peterson, appreciate it coming in. Let me see, who else do we have in? Susan was on here. I said Pono Kawhi. And so Valerie Sanders, listen, y'all know what it is. If I didn't get to say you all's name, thank you so much for coming in, spending your time with us. We appreciate you like no other. We send you pure gratitude for your time. We really do. And your interaction. But with that, man, y'all have a wonderful night. God bless each and every one of you all. Watch out for each other. God cover each and every one of you all. Thank you, Dash brothers. Love you, Marcus, Tage.
Love you, brother.
We'll see everybody on Wednesday. So
Wednesday, we got some rumors and stuff that, we've kind of been a part of over the last few days. We didn't get into it tonight, but we got some rumors and stuff that we've kind of maybe helped spread a little bit, but we'll address some of that stuff on Wednesday night. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys Wednesday. Have a good night.
Later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.